I just want to find my family and be loved by everyone, but why? Shulina is trying to prove to her father, it is really me, the child from 18 years ago, it is me. Unexpectedly, her father's cold words stunned her. Where's the proof? These words made Shulina question herself. Have I been wishing for the impossible? Because my spirit power has been completely stolen. It is very fragile. But even so, father will recognize me. However, the more Shulina hoped, the more harsh her father's words became. So weak. You are not my child. Shulina, you will be imprisoned in the spirit mirror. Just as she was about to call out, Azella suddenly appeared and hugged her father's arm. Azella's image became clear in Shulina's eyes, making her remember. So it is her, Azella, the one who stole my spirit power and my life. As they walked away, her father said to Azella, my child passed away 18 years ago. Those words of rejection made Shulina's heart ache even more. That is right, that child has passed away, has not she? Yes, father, I am not your child. Princess Shulina, the one everyone calls the villainous. The real Princess Shulina was sent to the orphanage due to the Empress's scheme, and lived a lonely life until old age. The real Princess Shulina had all her spirit power stolen by the fake princess, Azella, and suffered a very tragic ending. This is the ending of Princess Azella that I read. Shulina suddenly woke up. She looked at her current reflection in the glass window and exclaimed, so tiny. Why did I have to transmigrate into Shulina, who has such a tragic ending? Is it because I was constantly abused and mistreated by the orphanage director when I was young, that my original memories are almost gone now? She always used harsh words to yell at Shulina. You pathetic thing, tonight I will starve you until you are almost dead. Even though I was beaten to a pulp by the director, I could only endure it silently. Hurt so much. But the words I heard when Shulina met her family. Shulina received cold words from the very people she considered her family. You are not my daughter. Even her older brother did not acknowledge her as his sister. My only sister is Azella. Shulina asked herself in despair, will that scenario become my future? But a moment later, she regained her spirit and determined, I won't live like her. While she was cleaning the windows, someone suddenly came running to find her. Shulina, what are you doing here? Once you are done cleaning, hurry up and prepare dinner. This bossy child is Telline. She is the orphanage director's minion and the only one who bullies me. Shulina hurriedly ran off at her demand. I know, I am going now. Just when it seemed like everything would end there, Telline played a dirty trick and tripped Shulina while she was running. And so, a horrified scream escaped Shulina's lips. For some reason, Telline kindly reached out and hugged her tightly. Shulina's eyes widened in surprise as she looked at Telline's face. Strange, why did Telline catch me? Why would she catch me? Telline put on an innocent face and pretended to ask. Tripped, are you okay? Shulina could only reply, I am fine. With her intuition, Shulina felt something was wrong. Is she planning to bully me again? Did she stick something on my back? As soon as she saw Shulina reach behind her, Telline quickly made an excuse, grabbed her hand, and said, of course you are okay. As soon as she finished speaking, Telline excitedly pulled Shulina along. Don't delay, let us go to the dining hall quickly. She replied in a panic, I know, let us go slowly. Finally they both reached the dining hall. Telline immediately assigned Shulina a task. Here, I will hand out the potatoes and you carry this. Can you do it? Due to her short height, no matter how hard Shulina tried, she could not reach the handle. Wait a minute, I can't reach it. Telline, watching from beside her, became annoyed. She snapped at Shulina, just wait. Seeing Telline out of sight, Shulina quickly seized the opportunity. Perfect, this is my chance. She reached behind her back to check if Telline had played a trick on her. Suddenly, Shulina felt something bulky inside her pocket. She froze when she saw what was in her hand. It was a sparkling diamond ring. This is the director's ring. The director is the only one in the orphanage who has a ring like this. At this rate, if I am falsely accused of stealing, I will definitely be beaten to death. At the same time, Telline returned. Shulina glanced at Telline with a fearful expression. Telline returned with a stool in her hand. She angrily told Shulina, here, now you can carry it. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Telline slipped and fell. The pot of food on the table spilled all over the floor. Seeing Telline sprawled on the floor, Shulina screamed in shock. What do I do? Telline was walking over here and suddenly tripped. She quickly ran over to check on her. Telline, are you okay? Are you hurt? Hearing the commotion, the director rushed over to see what was happening. What is all this noise about? Telline quickly looked up and called, Director. She walked over to Telline and questioned her. Telline, what did you do? Telline's face suddenly turned pale. She said in a trembling voice, "Director, it was not me, Shulina did it." Line immediately shifted all the blame onto Shulina. "She tripped me, yes, I clearly felt something trip me." Shulina sat dumbfounded by Line's skillful fabrication. She could only cry out in frustration. "Line, when you fell I was worried about you first. How could you say that?" The other children who witnessed the incident began to criticize Line. "She tripped herself and now she is blaming Shulina. That is too much, she always bullies us and lies." Line is a liar, exposed in front of the director. She could only purse her lips in resentment. "If I lose this round, I will play another." Line quickly changed the subject. "Director, please check Shulina. I saw something shiny in Shulina's pocket earlier. I am sure it is the director's ring." Hearing this, the director's rage boiled over. "What, Shulina?" Line turned and looked at Shulina with a sly smile as everything went according to her plan. Unable to contain her anger, the director started scolding Shulina relentlessly. "I fed you, clothed you, raised you, and you dare steal my ring. I am boiling with anger, you thieving brat." Shulina could only sit still and endure, looking at the director with a pitiful expression. To prove her innocence, Shulina did not hesitate to take off her clothes. And she boldly declared to the director, "I did not steal anything, look, there is nothing, right?" Line could not have foreseen that things would turn out like this. "That is impossible, I clearly saw it today, believe me, director." Everyone started whispering amongst themselves. But Shulina did not even go to the director's room today. "Right, she was only cleaning on the first floor today." "That is right, I saw it too." Line is definitely lying, ashamed and angry. Line stubbornly turned to them and said, "No, she stole it before." Seeing her weakness, Shulina seized the opportunity to call her out. "You just said today, but now you are changing your story, Line. But that is strange, is not it?" Shulina said, looking at Line with sharp eyes. Line's arrogant expression disappeared as all the evidence pointed against her. Only Line went to the director's room today. Thinking about it, that is right. The director started to look towards Line. She firmly grabbed Line's arm and pulled her aside forcefully. Line could not believe that the director's ring fell out of her own pocket. "Impossible. I clearly put it in Shulina's pocket." Line remembered the moment she brought the chair over to Shulina. "Here, now you can." The moment Shulina deliberately tripped her, causing Line to fall, was also the moment she was most unguarded against everyone around her. At that moment, Shulina quickly ran to support Line. "Are you okay? You're not hurt, right?" It was at that moment that Shulina subtly slipped the director's ring into Line's pocket. Back in the present, Line cried and tried to plead her innocence. "It was not me, it was all Shulina." The director looked at her with a cold, expressionless face. She slapped Line hard. A painful scream echoed. Line trembled on the floor as the director's shouts grew harsher. "You little insect, I nurtured you, and you dare steal from me. You were given food and shelter, and you dare steal my things." Line sobbed in frustration. "No, it was not me." The director raised her hand, preparing to give Line another slap. "You ungrateful wretch!" Suddenly, Shulina jumped in to intervene. "Director." She pleaded for Line with a pitiful expression. "I am sure Line has her own reasons." The director frowned and demanded, "Step aside, Shulina." Shulina still insisted on protecting Line. "But Line really did not mean to steal your things." After repeated pleas, the director forcefully pushed Shulina aside. Then she roared, "Get out here immediately." As she spoke, she dragged Line away like a bag of trash. Line could only struggle weakly. "No, not today, it was so hard. It was so hard to get this opportunity. I'm sorry." Shulina stood dumbfounded by Line's strange words. What does that mean? Thinking back, Line seemed more anxious than usual today. She is wearing a different dress than usual, cleaning the school since morning. "I think I am about to remember something." Duke Violet. A family that uses a special aura instead of mana. Just looking at them makes others instinctively afraid, so they are called the cursed family. This family once adopted orphans from the orphanage, to clear their bad reputation. Today is that day. This is also my opportunity. Anyway, if I want to live well in the future, I need to live under the Duke's support. Shulina, I won't live like you because those who abandoned you are not family. Shulina stood sweeping the yard with a gloomy expression. "I am glad I safely secured a spot near the main gate." Deliberately working near the main gate like this to meet the Duke first has to be meaningful, right? Suddenly, the children outside cheered non-stop. "So sparkly, oh my god, a carriage as big as our orphanage." With her sharp ears, Shulina immediately realized her target had arrived. She quickly tidied herself up, then practiced a bright smile and prepared to face him. Shulina put on an innocent face and went to open the door. Who is it? Two men stood right before her. This person is Duke Violet. Black hair and purple eyes. It is definitely Duke Violet. Is the person with him the Duke's son? Shulina told herself smile, so she smiled brightly and complimented him. Mister, you are so handsome. The boy looked at Shulina with affectionate eyes. Amazing. She seized the opportunity to start a conversation with him. What is your name? The young prince gave a sunny smile and replied, Windy. Shulina froze, pondering. Windy. Could it be Windert, the secondary male lead and future duke? In the original story, the character turned into a villain when he could not win Azella. Based on the original story, he should be 11 years old, but he looks like he is 15. Shulina giggled and called him Windy. He was surprised. Amazing. You are not afraid of me. At this age, everyone should be crying because of the curse, right? It is obviously because of spiritual power. Spiritual power is like nature and tends to protect royalty, so it will also protect me from the Duke's terrifying curse. Violet curiously asked Shulina, how old are you? She started counting her fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am almost 7 years old. Violet thought to himself, she says she is 6, but she looks even younger. Shulina pretended to be naive and talked to Violet. But what is your name, mister? You should tell the director beforehand when you come so you do not get scolded. He glanced at Shulina and said, just say Violet and they will know. She quickly grabbed Violet's finger with her tiny hands. Let us go. Shulina will take you to see the director. Shulina's cute and innocent expression made Violet's heart melt. Standing at the door, Shulina knocked and announced, Director, we have a guest. The director quickly replied, my lovely Shulina, thank you for bringing them here. As soon as the director opened the door, Shulina jumped up and introduced him. It is Mr. Violet. The director was startled that the Duke was visiting today. After sitting down, Violet lifted Shulina up and said, I am looking for a child to stay with for a month. The director bustled around like a busy person. Although it is a bit shabby, please wait a moment. I will find a child suitable for the Duke right away. Violet interrupted her. No need. Shulina's eyes widened in surprise at his words. It was unbelievable that Duke Violet chose Shulina without a second thought on their first meeting. I will take this child. Violet's words made the director tremble in fear. What, Shulina, this child is a bit. But ignoring the director's attitude, Violet gently asked the little girl, will you come with me? With such a handsome face and a gentle, warm voice, who could refuse? Shulina smiled brightly and agreed. She asked in a sweet voice, but, Your Grace, if I go, what will I do, laundry or cleaning? Of course, at Duke Violet's mansion, such tasks would not fall to Shulina. At the Duke's mansion, you will be treated with the utmost respect. You will eat well, play and rest comfortably. You might even be featured in newspapers. Windy, seeing her ask this, spoke up. But you should have asked that earlier. But they did not know that the female lead had read the original story a long time ago, so there was no need to ask further. Windy looked at the thin little girl with a bit of heartache. You have been overworking yourself from the start, almost to exhaustion. Have you been eating properly? Your skin is almost peeling off. Contrary to her brother's concern, Shulina was very enthusiastic. I have been working hard and my body is very healthy. But the truth was, Shulina's arms were as thin as twigs. Look at your arms. It seems I should prepare some delicious food. Windy chuckled at that. Father will have a hard time getting some flesh on those arms. That smile in Shulina's eyes was no different from an angel's. So beautiful. Because her energy was unmatched, the female lead lost her balance and almost fell. She had already braced herself for the fall, but suddenly her body stopped. A beautiful scene appeared before Shulina's eyes. Violet had caught her just in time. With a face like a male god, he asked, Are you hurt anywhere? Shulina's mind was probably occupied with nothing but his face at that moment. No, sir. She shyly replied, Thank you, Your Grace. At that moment she sat like a shy puppy, thinking to herself, I was so scared. I did not expect him to shield me. Even in these dirty clothes. Being saved by those outstretched arms in a moment of danger, just like a father. Even though she liked it, she still had to keep her mind clear. No, what kind of absurd thought is this? The little girl suddenly turned to Windy and asked, Speaking of which, Windy. Windy did not need her to finish her sentence. He already knew the question and answered, I am not as weak as you. I am training to be a knight. Shulina also remembered. Come to think of it, in the original story he won the title of best knight on the continent, right? With an innocent face, Shulina clapped excitedly. "You're so amazing." This made him a little embarrassed. "What is up?" Finally, the three of them got into the carriage to return to the Duke's mansion. "My apologies. Another carriage was going too fast, so I had to swerve." Shulina thought to herself in the carriage, if they are nobles, why would not they recognize the Duke's carriage, almost crashing into us without a single apology? How can they act like that? As Shulina's carriage passed another one, she happened to see a crying noble sitting inside. But what is strange is, are they crying? Passing the Duke's carriage like that is unacceptable. "Should we pursue them, Your Highness?" Violet was about to give the order. "They almost injured the child. This is unacceptable." But to prevent Violet from punishing the person in the other carriage, Shulina quickly changed the subject. "Your Grace, I am so hungry. My stomach keeps rumbling." Violet looked at the pitiful little girl with affection. So he decided to let the other person go. Just keep going. After a long journey, they finally arrived at the mansion. "We're home. This is where I will be living for the next month." The place was magnificent. Servants were already waiting at the door. "Miss, welcome to the White Rose Mansion." Even though it was beautiful, this scene was quite overwhelming. Windy spoke up. She is surprised. "Let us go in. Delane is waiting." Hearing the unfamiliar name, Shulina asked, "Who is Delane?" "He is my brother." As the three of them entered the house, a camera was pointed directly at them. For Shulina, who had never seen a camera before, the sudden flash scared her. Trembling, she hid her face in the Duke's chest, causing the two men to comfort and reassure her. The little girl asked fearfully, tears welling up in her eyes, "What was that?" "It is a camera." The photographer, realizing he had offended the young lady, immediately knelt down and apologized. "I apologize for frightening you." Seeing the photographer's reaction, Shulina thought to herself, "What is this? It is not the usual commoner's fear of a noble. It is like they are struggling with instinctive fear. This seems to be the Duke's family curse." To save the photographer from being punished, Shulina quickly intervened. "I was just a little surprised because it was my first time seeing one. Please take a nice picture of me." The little girl forced a smile. Seeing this, Violet did not want to punish the commoner. He let it go for now. "You may leave." As soon as they entered, Shulina was greeted by the mansion's butler. "Welcome, miss. I am Edgar, the butler of the White Rose Mansion." Shulina gestured to Violet. "What is it? Put me down." She politely replied, "Thank you. I look forward to your assistance, Mr. Edgar." Edgar replied to the little mistress, "If you experience any inconvenience, no matter how small, please tell me immediately." "Thank you." Seeing the butler's attitude, Shulina felt relieved. "It seems like he does not hate me." Suddenly, someone appeared behind her and said, "Oh my goodness, she is so small, well-behaved and adorable. You are here. This is head maid Lucy. Lucy will assist you with everything, so please remember her face." Lucy greeted them. "Your Highness, young master, why is the young lady dressed like that in such chilly weather?" She then gently wrapped a coat around the female lead. Shulina said, "I do not have a coat like this anyway." Lucy smiled affectionately. "Since the weather has turned cold, I prepared this. I wish it were thicker though." But for the female lead, this coat was incredibly warm. Suddenly, Shulina's stomach growled. "Miss, are you hungry? I will prepare some food for you right away. We will take a bath after you have eaten. What would you like to eat?" Being asked that question for the first time, Shulina was a little flustered. "I do not know many types of food. What if they laugh at me?" Violet, seemingly reading her mind, instructed, "Just prepare the best." "So I shall prepare plenty of delicious food." But the better she was treated, the sadder Shulina became, because this preferential treatment was limited to 1 month. "I can't get used to this feeling. My heart is melting." At that moment, Delane was upstairs, watching the female lead. He thought to himself, is that the little girl? Delane had seen the child his father adopted. Is that the child? Windy, seeing his younger brother, said, "Del, why are you sitting there?" Following the voice, Shulina looked up. "Which child is that?" "I think his name is Delane." Finally, Shulina met everyone in the Duke's mansion. She greeted them politely. "Let me formally introduce myself. Hello everyone, I am Shuling. I am currently 6 years old. Thank you for inviting me here, I am very happy." Violet was worried that the little one was not dressed warmly enough and was standing on the cold floor, so he picked her up. "Shuling, have a wonderful time living here for the next month." Hearing the Duke say that, the little girl replied, "It is not Shuling, it is Shulina." Just to clarify, the little one has a lisp, so her name is Shulina. You heard it at the orphanage too. Violet did not expect the little girl to be so quick-witted. I thought you wanted me to call you that. At this moment I wish I could replace this tongue, this hateful tongue. I'm not a baby monster, why am I like this? Delane was confused by Shulina's words. Why did she say it is not Shuling but Shuling? The two names are exactly the same. Windy, please introduce her. It is Shulina. Delane found the little girl strange and was curious. Can't even say her own name, that is tricky. What is your nickname? Windy, seeing her brother's rudeness, reminded him, Del, you have to say your name first. Delane politely introduced himself, I am Delane. This made Shulina extremely excited. What a beautiful name. Like father, like son. He blushed with just a little compliment. My name is beautiful, just a little bit. Shulina thought to herself, what is this? Why is this family so lenient towards me? They are not wary at all. It is true that because of the curse, it is natural that no one would approach them. They are such kind people. It is really sad. Delane approached her friendly. So, what is your nickname? A little girl like Shulina would not know what a nickname is. Nickname Shuling. I do not have a nickname. Hearing that, Violet muttered something. A nickname. Then he decided to give the cute little girl the nickname Shushu. It was the first time the female lead had been given a nickname, and she was thrilled. Shushu, that sounds cute. Seems okay. Does the Grand Duke think I am cute? The Grand Duke explained, because you are like shoe cream, meaning shoe cream. The little girl, her eyes sparkling, asked, what is shuyurim? If you bake the outer shell, it becomes a soft bread like shoe cream. So let us use the name Shushu. Shulina was a bit disappointed. Bread, it is called bread, my first nickname. Del also had to admit that the nickname suited her. Really, you look so bright and white. You will like it after you try a bite later. Windy, concerned about Shushu's rumbling stomach, stood up and said, Father, the kitchen should have finished preparing the food by now, so let us go to the dining room. Yes, let us go. Windy carried the little girl as lightly as if she were a candy. Let us go, Shushu. The female lead seemed reassured to see that Windy seemed to like her. But why can't the people in this family stand it if they are not close to me? Delane, seeing his older brother carrying Shulina, wondered, Brother, why are you carrying her like luggage? Windy's answer made Shulina freeze. Look at your legs. What if Shushu gets hurt while walking? Del added, that is right, then I will carry her when you are not around. She was tired of the brothers. But Del's offer was immediately rejected by Windy. You are not strong enough yet, so you can't. When you can swing your sword 1,000 times in a row, I will allow it. Shulina was surprised to hear those words. Why would you say that? But since these were the words of Windy, who would later become a famous knight throughout the empire, it must be possible. Delane, upon hearing the limit, did not complain but immediately agreed. 1,000 times, okay, I will train hard so I do not hurt Shushu. During the meal, the head maid suddenly said, Oh my, it looks like close siblings. This made Shulina a little embarrassed. Siblings, it would be great if it were like that. A father and brothers who love me and a wealthy life too. Maybe I can live comfortably without any threat. Unlike now, when I was born as a princess, my life was threatened. The little girl mumbled, if you, Ingdert, were really my family, it would be even better. But it is good to meet you like this. At this moment, a warm sibling affection seemed to flow between Windy and the little girl. The older brother, seeing his sister struggling to pronounce his name, said gently, My name is hard to pronounce, so you can call me Windy. Yes, brother Windy. The third brother, seeing this, could not let himself be outdone. I will also specially allow you to call me Brother Del. Although you are not my sister, but specifically, you seem sincere, so I am making an exception. Delane's face looked arrogant, but in reality, he was very cute and lovable. This made Shulina extremely happy to be living here. Thank you, Brother Del. Suddenly, a loud gurgling sound echoed. What was that? Oh, Shushu's face is all red. Do you have a fever? Finally, the savior arrived. We have finished preparing the meal for the young masters and Miss. Bringing the food at the right time, Lucy. As soon as the table of food was opened, our little Shushu was overwhelmed. For a little girl who had been abandoned since childhood, this was the first time she had seen these dishes. But with such a full table, how could her small body finish it all? Her brothers took care of Shulina at the dining table. It is just food. Oh, this is shoe cream. The little girl observed the cake carefully. But she still did not understand, so she asked her brothers, Does this cake look like me? And it was confirmed. Exactly the same, not an inch off. You have to take a big bite to fully appreciate the taste. The taste moved her whole body. Really, really pitiful, Shuline. It is so delicious. The deliciousness of the cake brought tears to her eyes. As she ate, she thought to herself that her life had finally taken a turn for the better. From now on, I will only eat delicious food. I will help her do everything Shuline could not. Suddenly, something in the cake made Shulina unable to swallow. Her sister's unusual behavior made both Windy and Elaine panic. Shushu, what is wrong? The head maid was also anxious about the Mrs. Strange expression. Shulina, at this moment, did not understand what was in her mouth. Hurts, no, I'm going to throw up. Lucy immediately brought the miss a bucket, patted her back and said, don't hold back, just throw up, miss. Shulina's face gradually turned pale. Everything became blurry, and only the noisy calls around her remained. Unconsciously she thought, wake me up. When Shulina saw the light again, she found herself standing in a field of golden grass. She walked unconsciously, constantly thinking, the voice is quite low and deep like a man's. I know this place. Shulina followed the voice to a tree in the middle of the field. Was that Shulina's adult body there? The voice continued, only you can wake me up. This place. As soon as the little girl turned around to look, a spatial gate appeared. It was inside the soul mirror, the sealed soul world. In her unconsciousness, Shulina could not see anything but the echoing calls around her. Shushu, miss. With a splitting headache, she slowly opened her eyes and wondered, where is this? What she realized at this moment was that she was lying in bed, surrounded by many people, along with inquiries. Now that you are awake, how do you feel? Shushu, are you okay? Were those men worried about her? The female lead still could not believe those worried eyes were for her. Not having to endure the gloom alone upon waking up, everything was a first for her, so she did not know how to react. A man approached and said, Miss, I am the chief physician of the Grand Duke's family. My name is Baden. Do you feel any pain anywhere? The little girl, seeing a stranger, immediately sat up but was reassured by the doctor. Please take your time answering, do not overexert yourself. Miss, what did you eat at the orphanage? Have you ever eaten dishes like today's before? Shulina, her throat constricted, stammered, I ate cabbage and potato soup. Based on the Mrs. symptoms, Baden guessed that she had suddenly ingested a large amount of nutrients, but the problem was that she had consumed cream that was not good for her stomach. Although that cream was delicious to Shulina. But for now you should only eat light food and take the medicine I prescribe. It was like a punishment for the gluttonous little girl. Ruining myself by making myself unable to eat the delicious food at the orphanage. Just destroy everything. Violet and his son anxiously inquired, does it hurt anywhere? It has been 2 days since you woke up. Everyone was very worried about you. Hearing those words made Shulina's mood a mess. Worried about me, but why? Because the child they brought in for some purpose fainted. And why are they keeping their distance from me? Windy had been avoiding her gaze since earlier. Could it be that I have some unpleasant smell again? A smell? Oh my God, our female lead is the queen of overthinking. The more she thought, the further she went. For someone who vomited after eating and fainted for 2 whole days, making me unable to bathe, it is no different from being a rat. Thinking of the luxurious bed she was lying on, I can't let this filthy body ruin such precious things. I am so dirty now. Windy, seeing Shulina suddenly sit up like that, worried, wait, do not move suddenly. You can take your time getting up and then take a bath. Violet then ordered the head maid. Lucy. Yes, your highness. Violet replied, quickly take Shulina to bathe. He added a special instruction. Besides a child. That mysterious behavior made the female lead curious. What is he talking about? With eyes full of coldness and worry, making Shulina unable to relax. The Grand Duke's expression was grim. Shulina asked herself, to receive love, what should I do at times like these? The war maid spoke up, this was supposed to be the time when you would eat delicious food, miss, but is your body feeling better now? The little miss shyly replied, oh yes, my hair is a little. Her heart was full of concern. I can't be afraid, but looking into Lucy's eyes I can't lie. Lucy replied. His Highness the Grand Duke said that even in any matter, he must respect the Miss's opinion. He said the Miss is a good child, good at enduring pain, and carefully observes everything around her. Hearing those words made Shulina somewhat less tense. Because of his gloomy expression earlier, I thought he was angry. But he said such words. He noticed me constantly looking around and being tense. Feel a little nauseous. Lucy was truly a warm maid, constantly inquiring about the Miss. Miss, are you not afraid of His Highness or the young master? Do you feel hot or shaky? Lucy knew this was overstepping her duties, but she could not help but say, this is a private matter, but they have great energy. I do not know if it is because of that energy that everyone becomes afraid of the master and young master. The young master is also worried that being with you all the time might be making you sick. So all of Shulina's misunderstandings were finally cleared up. That is not the reason, the chief physician said, but because it is a curse passed down through many generations of blood, everyone avoids it. So everyone in the mansion and Violet and his sons gradually got used to that thought. How much they must have suffered because of that curse to be so worried. At this very moment, the girl had her answer. I do not think so. On the contrary, everyone has been very kind to me, so I am very happy. She was so happy that she wanted to run and clear up the misunderstanding. At this moment, I am also worried that the Grand Duke will think I am a child who does not understand etiquette. Lucy, hearing the Mrs. answer, was relieved. That is a relief. Now please change into new clothes. I will take you to the dressing room. This was truly heaven for a little girl who had been in an orphanage since childhood with only 2 sets of clothes. Everything was high-end with the most beautiful designs. Oh my God, so many clothes. The maid gently asked, do you like them? They are all clothes that His Highness prepared for you. Please choose the outfit you want to wear. Shulina went over and picked out an outfit. I will wear this. You like this outfit? I will help you change. There was not time, so these are ready-made clothes. Soon a tailor will be called and will make clothes that fit your size. His Highness instructed us to prepare everything perfectly, just like when entering the royal family. Shulina thought to herself, the Grand Duke has really been too kind to me. He did that for me. Thinking back from the first time they met, the Grand Duke had respected her. He asked for my opinion. And he pays attention to small details. I really do not want these kind people to be misunderstood and hurt. She had made up her mind and could not delay any longer. She hurried to where Violet was. At this moment, Shulina had only one wish. Please listen to what I have to say. Windy and Violet, seeing Shulina suddenly running towards them, were surprised. Shushu. The girl, looking at the people who always cared for her wholeheartedly, could not help but tear up. Then she choked up. I do not like Brother Windy avoiding me. You kept avoiding my eyes earlier and it hurt me a lot. I love the Grand Duke very much, and I like Brother Windy too. I like Brother Del too, and you too, Lucy. I like this house, everyone. Leaving the orphanage and coming here, I feel like this place is heaven. Every word Shulina uttered was like a weight lifted off her chest. There no one cared about Shulina. I was looked down upon as a dirty orphan. I hate that place. No one liked me. The only thing Shulina received were beatings and harsh scoldings. She was always abandoned and felt lonely at the orphanage. At the orphanage, Shulina was a child not worthy of love. That place to a child is like a dark prison. I am a useless child. Every word broke Windy and Violet's hearts. Since I was born, this is the first time I have met and been with so many good people. Hugging me without hesitation, holding my hand, I am so happy. Now I understand why I felt anxious when I was with these people. These people are just like me. Lonely in this world, just like me. The little girl spoke with tears streaming down her face. Shulina was rejected by her family, while the Grand Duke's family was isolated by a curse. Why are you all avoiding me? Violet rushed forward and hugged the poor little girl tightly. If you avoid me now, I will be very sad. Please do not shun me. Violet hugged Shulina tightly, like a happy family with a father and 3 children, so warm. Windy gently wiped the tears on his little sister's cheeks. You are not a dirty orphan. Here you are, my sister. Those words were like the best medicine for Shulina at that moment. Violet also took great care of her. You just woke up not long ago. Crying like this will drain your energy. Your eyes are all red. Like a poor little rabbit. Wait inside, I will get you some soup. Shulina felt the love from a family she had never felt before. Gently wiping away her tears of happiness, she replied yes. Shulina excitedly showed her foster father her new clothes. Look, Grand Duke, is not it beautiful? Violet also observed carefully to give his opinion. Lovely. It made Shulina happy. Lovely in the eyes of ordinary people is simply a compliment, but lovely in the eyes of an overthinker like Shulina is much more profound. Is it lovely in the Grand Duke's eyes? Like a dragonfly. I am a dragonfly. The weather is so nice. But when Shulina thought about it again, something felt wrong. Dragonfly wings. The little girl could not stop admiring her new clothes. Look at this. This is the first time I have tried wearing something like this. But as soon as the female lead lifted her skirt, the first thing that caught Violet's eye was the little girl's skinny, bony legs, nothing but skin and bones like twigs. Worried about his daughter's health, Violet immediately said, "Eat before the soup gets cold." But it seemed the little girl misunderstood. He changed the subject. A plate of exquisite soup was brought out, piping hot. And of course, this was the first time she had seen such a dish. Sit here, Shushu. Not only that, but the Grand Duke even fed the little girl every spoonful. Come on, open your mouth. Shulina was a little surprised but cooperated rhythmically. But right after putting the spoonful of soup in her mouth, something went wrong. The soup, fresh out of the oven, was too hot. The little girl struggled as her tongue got burned. Ah, it is so hot, Violet panicked. Shushu, what is wrong, are you okay? Lucy, arriving and seeing this scene, was startled. Oh my, your highness, what happened? The worried Grand Duke replied, Lucy, it seems Shushu is still in pain. I fed her the soup, but she vomited it all up. Miss, are you alright? Shulina, trying to suppress the pain, explained, the soup was so hot, but the Grand Duke kept feeding it to me. It was really hot. Lucy, knowing the situation, praised the little miss. You did not cry out loud. You are such a good child. Your highness, when you feed the miss, you have to blow on it first. Here's some cold water. Please hold it in your mouth. Violet was a warm father but seemed a bit inexperienced. Your body is weak and your tongue is weak too, your highness, anyone would be in pain if they ate such hot food. But according to Violet's memory, his two children, Windy and Dell, were not like that. Shulina, hearing that, did not know what else to say. You can't compare the body of someone from the Grand Duke's family to the body of an ordinary person. Despite being burned, the little girl still managed to smile. The Grand Duke did not do it on purpose. I'm fine. But why did you suddenly feed me soup? Violet, hearing that, replied heartbrokenly, you are too thin. If you want to grow taller, you have to eat a lot. So, if you eat your soup and take your medicine well, you will be healthy. Then I will give you a special gift that I have never given to any other child. Shulina's eyes widened with curiosity as she asked the Grand Duke, really, of course it is true. This pinky swear is like a promise between us. Promise you. At another mansion, a nobleman was waiting in a carriage. The driver respectfully opened the door. Are you alright, sir? I am fine. Let us leave quickly. The nobleman's carriage started moving. While feeling sad and worried, he inadvertently looked out the window and saw the Grand Duke's carriage waiting for Shulina. The young man thought to himself, it must be wonderful to be in there. The more he thought about it, the more resentful and heartbroken he felt. A gust of wind blew past, accompanied by voices echoing in his mind. The call kept echoing, my child, my child. I have been looking for you for 6 years. According to custom, a son who dies at birth is cremated within 3 days. Empress Hires gave birth to a weak child and could not bear the pain of childbirth, so she passed away. That is all I heard from the other wife, royal consort Elina. Everyone thinks it is strange to search for a dead child, but I believe the baby is still alive. There is no reason why the child should have died. I clearly felt the soul's power after the child was born, even though I know it is absurd. The man kept searching for his lost son. He went from dawn till dusk. I have visited every orphanage across the country, clinging to every glimmer of hope. After a long day without any results, the man returned to his mansion. Lucas, what are you doing? The child replied happily, Father, I am thinking about what to do when Shulina arrives. When Shulina comes, I will teach her some swordsmanship myself. And I will carry her every day. Those were beautiful pictures painted by a child's innocent thoughts. I want to see Shulina soon, Father. His eldest son, Lucas, was eager to meet the little sister his deceased mother had left behind. Lucas was the only one in the royal palace who believed his sister was still alive. The gifts for my sister keep piling up, but my once hopeful face is becoming more and more clouded. My first daughter, Azella. Father. I love you, Father. I came to give you this flower. Elina's daughter. I married her as arranged to make Hires, the young lady from a not-so-powerful family, the Empress. I feel sorry for her, but I did not want to have children with the royal consort. Azella is a child I can't love at all. Everyone tells me to bury my youngest daughter deep in my heart and raise the living child well, but how can I forget my lost child? I want to see her even just once. If I have not found her yet, I have to search harder. I will absolutely not give up. I will definitely find her. Where are you wandering? Come back to your father's arms. My dear Shulina. While the emperor was relentlessly searching for his missing daughter, the little girl was living a very happy life with her new loved ones. Shulina was innocently playing with her brother, Delane. Hushu, come here. Brother, I am coming, the little girl thought to herself. If I had not gone to find the dog just now, I would have gone back and forth several times already. Del was such a sweet brother. Tired from exercising, are not you? Here, eat this. 2 for you, especially keep it a secret from our brother, okay? What could make a child happier than being given candy? It is so delicious, I love sweets. You are the best. Delane, if my sister praises me, I will have a chance to brag to my older brother. See, Shushu likes me the most. Meanwhile, Windy was focused on studying something. Brother, what have you been writing every day lately? No reaction, not interesting. Shulina peeked and thought, he is recording my activities again. The health program is also being arranged with the main physicians. Could it be that my fainting was a shock to them? After a while of diligently writing, Windy finally closed his notebook. And the first thing he did was play with his little sister. Come on, Shushu, come here. So the war for their sister's attention between the two brothers began again. But what could she do? Windy was handsome, and in the future, he would become the top knight in the whole country. Oh well, I guess I will have to bear with it. I am coming. Del could not let himself lose so easily. Shushu, I will teach you swordsmanship, so come here. Both brothers called at the same time, so how could she decide? It is tiring when you call me at the same time like that. Del was not afraid to approach Shulina, as long as he had a reason. But his running posture was a bit strange. Coming up to my sister and holding a sword like that. Immediately after, a sword blocked Delaine's random swing. Windy had arrived in time to protect his little sister. Shushu, it is dangerous. Almost putting his little sister in danger made Windy incredibly angry. You did not grasp the situation and just swung your sword recklessly like that. Are you even sane? Delaine had not considered that his actions could hurt his sister. His eyes teared up as he hurriedly apologized. Oh Shushu, I am really sorry, are you hurt? Shulina looked at her brother, who at this moment resembled a scolded puppy, and burst out laughing. You are so cute. Delaine, embarrassed, replied, how can I be cute at a time like this? Is it okay to tease your older brother like that? But you are also very cute. Violet, standing upstairs, had seen the three siblings happily playing together. It was a heartwarming sight. Just then, the results of Violet's investigation into Shulina arrived. Your Highness, the investigation into the orphanage where the young miss resided is complete. Report. The children I saw were in a state of severe hunger and thirst. Like the young miss, they likely have not had enough to eat or drink. Hearing this, the Grand Duke's gaze sharpened. Violet asked anything else. The children were not wearing seasonally appropriate clothing either. The cold permeated the entire orphanage, except for the director's room. Looking at the state of the orphanage, it seems the director has pocketed a considerable amount of money. If the funds Your Grace provided were used properly, even without private donations, they should not be in such a dire situation. After hearing the whole truth, Violet could not bear to imagine what the children had endured in recent months. Dacious. Even the subordinates who had followed the Grand Duke for years had never seen him so angry. His Highness, who is always so calm, is enraged to such an extent. What in the world? With such love from the Grand Duke, that little miss might actually become the true young lady of this house. Violet made a decision. He ordered his subordinate, Kahir. Bring Shushu here. As you command. Shulina, seeing the Grand Duke summon her, excitedly entered the room. The Grand Duke called for me. Even she did not know what he would say. Usually we only meet during mealtimes or tea time. I wonder what is going on. Shushu, come sit here. The little girl was delighted to sit on the soft chair, but seeing Violet's expression, she felt a sense of unease. Violet did not beat around the bush and asked directly, Shushu, what do you think about the orphanage? Shulina thought to herself, the orphanage, why suddenly? Today, the Grand Duke's face seems much scarier than usual, so cold. He has never shown that expression in front of me before. Could it be that he does not like me and plans to send me back to the orphanage? Just thinking about it made Shulina unsure of what to do with her future. I have not even been at the Grand Duke's house for 2 weeks. Could I have done something wrong? What should I do? Think, Shulina. Overcome this difficult situation. Should I say I will pose more enthusiastically for the advertisement, or should I plead earnestly for sympathy? Or should I demonstrate my intelligence, or should I say I will do anything he asks? Which choice is the wisest? Please think. She spoke up. Is it because you do not need me anymore, so you are sending me back to the orphanage? Do I have to go back? Violet, seeing his daughter say this, panicked and explained, wait a minute, Shulina, what are you talking about? Shushu, what do you mean you are not needed? Who has been gossiping about your presence here? Actually, no one has been gossiping. It is just me overthinking. You suddenly asked about the orphanage, so I... Hearing this, Violet felt partly responsible for his lack of sensitivity. I apologize. I was a bit hasty. First, I have this for you. Baden said your health has fully recovered. So this is the gift I promised. Shulina was a little surprised that the Grand Duke still remembered his promise. It looked similar to the cream puffs she was familiar with. This cake won't be good if it melts, so eat it quickly. Shulina took the cake, and it was indeed still cold. It is a frozen cream puff. She wondered, a frozen cream puff. Yes, a type of cream puff that is frozen before eating. Someone just like a child like you also really liked them. Seeing the slight sadness in the Grand Duke's eyes, Shulina thought, what is the Grand Duke thinking? He must be thinking about the person who passed away shortly after giving birth to Delane. Seeing his daughter wanting to eat the cake but hesitant was amusing. Shushu, just eat it. It looks like you are about to drool. I will enjoy it, she thought. I have to open my mouth wide to savor it. This is so delicious. Thank you for giving me such a tasty treat. If you like it that much, come by often. I will have it prepared for you. Shualina's eyes sparkled. So you won't send me back to the orphanage, right? That is why you said you would give me more to eat. Of course. I asked about the orphanage because I received a report about the director. The little girl asked curiously. The director at my orphanage. Shulina had been waiting for this day. Then I know a lot about her. This is a great opportunity to expose the director who caused me and the other children so much suffering. I will tell you everything. She put on a somewhat innocent expression and began to recount. The director is a good person. She told us all to work hard to earn our meals. Is that so? She said generous people would give us money. But there are hardly any such people. So we had to help the director a lot. Violet was surprised. Children like you had to work. Yes, we were very skilled at sewing, laundry, cleaning. Everything. We would eat breakfast, clean everything, then sew clothes until dinner, about 10 hours. I diligently sewed clothes, and the director would sell them and then buy us food. The Grand Duke continued his inquiry. Children like you for 10 whole hours. Was our Shushu ever beaten? Hearing the Grand Duke refer to her as our Shushu, Shualina's face lit up with joy. Yes, I was probably the most useless one at the orphanage. So I worked hard to learn cleaning and laundry. They said I had to work as a maid in a rich family. Every word from Shushu fueled Violet's anger. Seeing the tension rising, Shulina intervened. Grand Duke, please do not do that. It hurts. I do not want the Grand Duke to be hurt. Violet held her small hands, which had undoubtedly endured hardships. Me neither. I hope the child with such beautiful hands won't suffer any more pain or illness. At those words, at that very moment, her nose tingled and started to burn. I must not cry. This feeling is definitely Shualina's emotions, so I should not waver. Violet spoke, thinking about what you have told me. It seems the director is a very wicked person, someone I can't associate with. But in my opinion, an orphanage is still essential. So, after punishing and dismissing that orphanage director, I will appoint a new one. This was Shualina's long-held wish. That is great. From now on, the orphanage children will be free from that awful director. I only mentioned that a few days ago. But how did things turn out like this? This was something Shulina had never imagined. Upon arriving, Shushu could not help but exclaim in surprise. Wow, there are so many people here. Windy also looked at her and asked again, Shushu, this is your first time leaving the mansion to come to a park like this. Will you be all right? Shushu smiled and replied, yes, I really wanted to come to Central Park. Thank you for bringing me here. I wish older brother could come too, but there is no helping it since he is so busy. Next time we will all come together. Shushu looked around the park, her eyes suddenly fixated on a younger child, or rather, the cup in the child's hand. Seeing his sister's interest, Windy asked if she wanted a drink. I will buy it for you. He did not wait for Shushu's polite refusal, but immediately ran off to buy it for her. Wait here for a bit. I will be right back. Nanny Lucy tried to call after him. Young master, if you run like that, you could get hurt, she sighed. He has already gone that far, so it can't be helped. Even if he hears me, I doubt he will slow down. While she was focused on Windy, Shushu seemed to want to say something, but Lucy did not notice. When she turned back to tell the young miss to wait on the bench, she realized Shushu was gone. To be precise, it was not that Shushu had wandered off, but that she had been taken somewhere by the orphanage director and her people. The director looked at her with eyes that seemed to want to devour her alive. Next to her stood a henchman covered from head to toe. It was not hard to recognize this person as the Crown Princess's henchman. The novel clearly stated that the Crown Princess was in league with a secret organization called the White Tower. This person was undoubtedly one of them. The orphanage director had no magical abilities, nor could she obtain information from the Grand Duke's family. Clearly, the Crown Princess had used her henchman to kidnap Shushu, but the reason remained a mystery to the little girl. The director spoke. Shulina, it seems you are living quite well. In this situation, it was best to play dumb to avoid suspicion. In her usual childish voice she replied, I am living very well, but where is this? There are still 2 weeks left. As she spoke, the heroine thought, if the Grand Duke stops the aid, I will have to leave the Duke's family. But why are they taking the risk of kidnapping me now? Looking at the scheming face of the woman before her, she must have some sinister plot in mind to act so audaciously. Even if you are worthless, it seems there is still a place that needs you. It appears someone is looking for you. As soon as she finished speaking, the henchman immediately approached Shushu. He revealed a rather frightening face and said, "Long time no see." In that instant Shushu realized, if there is a place that needs me, could it be they are planning to steal my power again? They clearly took it a month ago. I do not want to. I do not want to feel that pain again. Just the thought sent chills down her spine. Cornered by him, Shushu trembled, her lips barely moving. "Kelly, please." Desperate, she looked towards the director, calling her name for help, but the woman coldly turned away. "She was there when they robbed me of my spiritual power at the orphanage. There is no way she will help me now. Calm down, calm down. Everything will be okay. I can still change the future. It is not yet time for the crown princess to imprison me." Clinging to even the smallest sliver of hope, Shushu pleaded with the man to spare her, repeatedly mentioning the previous incident. But such villainous thugs would never let go of their prey. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out the magical tool she had seen in both the original story and this world. This dangerous object was called Brilliant. Every time she saw it, Shualina's painful memories resurfaced. A little more about Azella's secret. Although Azella was of royal blood, she possessed no spiritual power. Therefore, she always carried Brilliant, containing Shushu's spirit, to use. The novel claimed that the spiritual power Azella should have possessed was stolen by Shulina at birth, but this was not true. Shushu never stole Azella's power. How could the fact that Azella was born first, unlike her mother, and lacked spiritual power be Shualina's fault? This child is truly pitiful. Shushu wondered why she had even read such an absurd novel. Just because she was not the main character, she was treated as the villain. This is the classic excuse used to justify the villain's torment in stories. Shushu gritted her teeth. "I can't let Brilliant touch me," she screamed. "Grand Duke, help me, Grand Duke." The henchman panicked, not expecting such a loud voice from the little girl. He tried to pin her down, and during the struggle, Shushu accidentally knocked over a strange bottle of liquid on him. Seeing the bottle fall and shatter, he flew into a rage, glaring at her. "How dare you resist?" Looking at the vicious expression, Shushu was terrified and could only pray silently. But even the slightest hope was worth a try. Once more she cried out, "Grand Duke." Fortunately, their people arrived just in time. The Duke also arrived with them. Windy and Lucy must have quickly reported Shushu's disappearance to Violet. This time, the little girl could breathe a sigh of relief. Suddenly, the henchman made a very strange move. He waved his hand towards the three of them. He created a shield around all three. A protective barrier. Then we can't escape. He is definitely planning to use me as a hostage. At that moment, a reckless thought flashed through Shushu's mind. She looked around, her eyes landing on the shattered glass bottle. While the mage was distracted by the Grand Duke, she quickly grabbed a shard of glass. The mage's face contorted in pain. Shulina had stabbed him in the leg with the shard. The Duke, seizing the opportunity, broke the barrier and delivered a blow that sent the mage to his ancestors. He did not hesitate to eliminate anyone who dared to harm the one he was protecting. The Brilliant in the mage's hand fell to the ground. Seeing it, Shushu trembled. "Have to move away." "Move, I need to get away from Brilliant." Perhaps due to the fear of her past nightmare, Shushu could think of nothing but escaping from it. This Brilliant confirms that the Crown Princess and Azella will never give up on this spiritual power. As long as it exists, they will come back again and again. Despite everyone's urging her to move away from the stone, Shushu remained frozen. She kept repeating, "I have to get rid of Brilliant. If I destroy it, they won't be able to find me while they make another one." While she was still thinking about how to destroy it, Violet rushed over, embraced her, and asked if she was all right. "No, we have to destroy that." Hearing this, the mage reached for Brilliant. Just as he was about to grab it, Windy rushed in from behind, sword in hand, knocking the stone out of his reach. Mission accomplished. He raised his sword triumphantly and exclaimed, "My diagonal/practice paid off, Shu. Did you see, wasn't I cool?" Immediately after, strange runes appeared before everyone's eyes. The mage's body quickly vanished. He was still clutching Brilliant. "Maybe this stone will be my lifeline." He gave a creepy smile. But villains do not live long. Violet, noticing this, quickly stabbed the stone with his sword. Brilliant shattered, and the sword pierced his palm. He cried out in pain and quickly disappeared. In such a short time, the body of a grown man had vanished. The pool of blood he left behind reflected Violet's image. "I could not control my power very well." Delane, who had also come with them, took the Duke's hand and asked, "Father, he is dead. We have to ask why he did that to Shushu." The Grand Duke patted his son's head, comforting him warmly. Don't worry, Del. There is still someone who needs to be held accountable for this. He turned coldly towards the director, the sword in his hand pointing towards her. If he had made even the slightest mistake, it might have been her head, not just her hair, that fell to the ground. Terrified, she clutched her head and collapsed. I have not been controlling my power well because I am very angry right now. Hearing this, the director crawled towards the Duke's feet, trembling as she spoke. I am wrong, I have committed a deadly sin. Violet's words made her even more panicked. If you have committed a deadly sin, you should die, should not you? However, I am still very curious. Even if you try to ignore me, you will still have to answer me, won't you? How dare I ignore the Grand Duke? I would never dare. The once haughty director now cowered like an obedient dog. Truly, those like her always knew how to be subservient to power. No, I know this was your own doing. Otherwise, there is no reason for you to harm the child I am protecting. Now that her deception was exposed, the only thing the wicked director could do was beg for her life. Witnessing this scene, Shu realized the power of authority. This was the director who had bullied her so much, yet before the Grand Duke, she was so weak. If only I had a little power, if only I knew my true identity, maybe I would not have to live in such misery. And maybe the director would bow her head to me too. Thinking this, Shu teared up and hugged Windy tightly. Seeing her fear, Windy could not help but feel heartbroken. Shu, she won't be able to touch you again. Everything's all right now. From now on, everyone will protect you. Duke Violet began to question the director about the identity of her accomplice. Facing the line between life and death, she remained tight-lipped, refusing to reveal the person's name. Can't say. If I reveal that, I will really die. Normally, she would betray and tell everything she knew. Why was the director so reluctant to speak? But even if she did not die at the hands of her instigator, her life here was certainly forfeit. The Duke threatened, "Do you really think you will live after this?" As Windy carried Shu away, the director suddenly called out to her. Tears streaming down her face, she wailed, "Shulina, please help me, I was wrong, you love me, do not you?" Shulina was taken aback by her audacity. Shu turned to the Duke with a question. "Grand Duke, will you really change the orphanage? From now on, no one will be beaten, right? They will get food and water. And the refrigerator will always have food, right? Even if we do not work all day, we won't be scolded, right?" The Duke was surprised by these questions. He could not imagine what the children at the orphanage had endured. After receiving confirmation, Shulina smiled with satisfaction. She looked back at the director and addressed her. "Did you ever listen to me when I asked for help? I just asked you to help me." With that, she turned and left without looking back. The time for forgiveness had long passed. From now on, the director could no longer hurt Shu. Without Brilliant, the Crown Princess would not bother with her for a while. The miserable and unfortunate connection with the cruel director had finally ended. She closed her eyes, bidding farewell to the wicked woman. By the time the three children returned to the mansion, it was already dusk. Noticing Delaine's unusual behavior, Shu quickly asked, "Brother, are you all right?" Del remained silent for a moment before bowing his head and tearing up. Shu, did it hurt a lot? It turned out his silence throughout the journey was due to guilt. He probably blamed himself for her kidnapping. Worried about him, Shu quickly shook her head. "I was not hurt." She thought that would comfort him, but upon hearing her words, Del cried even harder, saying he did not deserve to be her brother. Seeing this, Windy was speechless. Is my younger brother actually crying? Del was filled with self-reproach, believing that everything that happened was because he could not protect her, because he had lost sight of her because of that drink. Kind and articulate, Shu replied, "That was because the bad mage controlled things, you just wanted to give me something to drink. It was not your fault. When I was kidnapped, I knew you and the Duke would come and get me. I completely trusted everyone." Shu's words soothed Del's small heart, and he stopped crying. Actually, it was a dangerous mindset for an orphan child who could not trust anyone before. But at that moment, Shu somehow knew everyone would come to save her. Thanks to them, she had narrowly escaped this time. In the future, the Crown Princess would come again for her spiritual power. Today, she had overcome it thanks to the variable that was the Grand Duke. But what about next time if the Crown Princess wanted to drag the Bylot family down with her? What should she do? The Grand Duke's family was the leading family of the empire, but the Crown Princess was royalty. Moreover, Marquis Batilde, the Crown Princess's paternal family, was the head of the nobility, controlling the empire's food supply due to their monopoly on the fertile lands in the south. In contrast, the Grand Duke was not deeply involved in politics, so his power was relatively weak. Not only Marquis Batilde and the Crown Princess, but all the nobles could be her enemies. These people had saved her. They had shown her great kindness. She truly wanted to protect them. Could she possibly win? Lost in thought, Windy interrupted her. You must be surprised, right? It is okay now. We will stay with you until you fall asleep, so close your eyes for a bit. You are all so busy. Why are you watching over me like this? Hearing this, Delane exclaimed, after what happened, what could be more important? I won't leave, Shushu. Your face is a little red. Seems like you really have a fever. I will call the doctor, so you should get some sleep first. Shushu's symptoms also started to manifest externally, but she still tried to pretend that she was okay and even tried to comfort everyone. I am fine, everyone. You do not need to worry about me. When she looked down at the ground, oh my God, she felt dizzy and disoriented, but still tried to hold on, thinking that if she drank some water, she might feel better. Speak of the devil. A mini waterfall suddenly poured down on her head from the sky. Oh my God, Shushu, what is this? Shushu, are you okay? Just now she was dizzy, but now she feels cold as if she is in the Arctic. She started to curl up, her whole body trembling. Windy quickly hugged her. It is okay. I will warm you up. Even so, she still felt very cold, just wishing there was a fire here, maybe it would be much better. Be careful what you wish for. A super huge fire appeared, not just a small one. Delane was stunned and hurriedly pulled the blanket to put out the fire. None of them could understand what was going on. When Del asked her, Shushu stammered in response. Before she could finish her sentence, she started to faint and soon lost consciousness. While she was unconscious, someone approached and talked to her. Finally, we meet. It is just that she did not know who it was, whether it was Windy or Del. Shushu slowly opened her eyes. Am I dreaming? Before her eyes was a complete stranger. That person quickly spoke to Shushu first. Don't be in pain anymore. Make a contract with me. He gently stroked Shushu's hair, then took a strand of her hair. Just hearing the voice of this mysterious person made Shushu feel much more comfortable. This person left, and Shushu returned to her dream. But what does it mean to make a contract? Something is messing with my head. Is this my dream or a memory? Even Shushu herself was not clear. The person who appeared in Shushu's dream also seemed to be a child. He himself said, because the seal cannot be broken yet. So I can only meet you like this. You will feel pain when you discover a little bit of divine power. So get well soon, because this time you will feel the happiness you desire. The words of this mysterious boy are probably the key to Shushu's future. It is also possible that he foresaw these things long ago. After speaking, this boy quickly disappeared into thin air. Shulina slowly woke up from her coma. Because Shulina had not woken up yet, Del was very upset. Why has not she woken up yet? Baden could only reassure him. That Miss is about to wake up. It is just that her spirit is extremely exhausted, young master. Hearing that, Del was even more bewildered, so that is why she suddenly fainted. Suddenly doused with water. Then surrounded by blazing fire and fainted. What spirit? Even Baden could not calm Del down. Young master, please let me go. A few minutes later, Shushu finally woke up to everyone's relief. As soon as they heard that the little one had fainted, they all gathered here. I was worried. Seeing everyone like that, she seemed very touched. When she woke up, Shushu immediately asked, "How is the director?" Duke Violet calmly replied, "She has received the appropriate punishment. You are still too young for me to explain the details to you." However, she was still persistent. "But I want to know. I think I have the right to know." Duke Violet had to tell the truth. The director ran the orphanage negligently and embezzled funds. In addition, considering all the crimes like abuse and kidnapping you, she was shot dead on the spot. Shushu, I know you are tired, but there is someone I want to introduce you to. Suddenly, a woman came and spoke. Hello, miss. I am Igraine from the Chongyul Magic Tower. I am looking for you because of the special ability you possess. The appearance of a mage surprised Shushu. She seemed a bit timid after what had just happened. However, Violet reassured her, "Don't worry, Shushu. I am here with you, so nothing will happen." How did that person torture you? So Shushu recounted to everyone, "Just now, when I wore that brooch, my vision became blurred, and my body lost all its strength. I felt a writhing pain inside me, so much so that I could not make a sound. When I was at the orphanage, she kept doing that." Hearing what she said, the Duke was extremely indignant. Indeed, she deserved to die. Then Igraine spoke, "Miss, I am here to help you. If I know what your power is, I can help you prevent similar things from happening again." At this point, Shushu thought to herself, "The power I possess is psychic power. If the Duke finds out that I possess psychic power and brings me back to the royal family, what should I do?" She remembered Azella's angry face. "Even if I return to the royal family, no one will welcome me. I do not want to go back to the royal family. Seeing Shushu looking worried, the Duke gently comforted her. There are many things I already know. Hearing his words, Shushu was very touched. So that is it. It seems the Duke heard something about me from the director. I can feel the gentle gaze the Duke has for me. Right, anyway, one day you will know. Just trust the Duke this once. So Igraine reached out her hand. Miss, I am a mage who uses cold air, so you will feel cold for a moment. Shushu's body emitted a dazzling light at this moment. Her eyes gradually became pale. At the same time, Igraine was very focused. Suddenly there was a loud scream, this can't be. Seeing this, the Duke came and asked what is wrong, that what Miss used is not magic. Dell was very surprised. But clearly both me and my brother saw the fire and it suddenly appeared like magic. Igraine stammered that, so I also thought it was some kind of elemental magic. Shushu's expression at this time seemed quite confused. Windy guessed if it is the brain, could it be psychic power? However, Dell did not think so. But is not psychic power an ability that only the direct descendants of the royal family can possess? So Shushu is royalty. After learning the truth, the Duke seemed quite worried. The direct royal descendant possessing this ability is only the late Empress. Could it be that the child who was born dead and had a funeral is still alive? You have worked hard. After you have finished checking, you can go back. However, what you saw today must absolutely not be revealed. I will keep it absolutely secret. At this moment, the Duke went to Shushu. No, Shulina. Do you want to return to the royal family? Tell me, do you want to restore your identity as a princess? She immediately refused. If I were really a princess, someone would have protected me before I went to the orphanage. But no one did. In that moment, she took the Duke's hand. I am still just an orphan from the orphanage. Duke, you do not need me anymore. The Duke then said, that is right. I do not need an orphan for propaganda purposes. His answer made her slowly release her hand from the Duke's. Instead, I need my daughter. He gently wiped away the tears on her cheeks and gave a warm smile. Suddenly he approached. At the same time, he knelt beside the bed. This surprised Shushu greatly. I will protect you with all my might, so do you want to become my daughter? The Duke fumbled in his pocket to take something out. I have been worried about when to tell you this. He took out a necklace. This is a treasure passed down to the girls in our family for generations. It has been continuously preserved for about 100 years, since the last girl was born. If you become my daughter, we will take a family photo and put it in this pendant. Even if we do not want to become a family, the fact that I said I would protect you will not change. It is your freedom to choose. This situation made Shushu constantly ponder. I want to answer immediately that I want to be part of his family, but what if the Duke's family is in danger because of me? What should I do if these affectionate people get hurt because of me? I can't bring myself to say it. It has been several days since that day. After my psychic power manifested properly, my physical condition quickly improved. I no longer stutter or stagger when I walk. At this moment, Shushu kept looking at the necklace the Duke gave her. It is your freedom to choose. Suddenly, both Dell and Windy appeared, making her very surprised. Ah, brother, when did you arrive? I thought you would not come. Seeing her looking worried, Windy said, are you thinking about becoming a family with us? I am sorry for asking, as if I am urging you. Father said that I should not do things that would make you make a decision against your will. Suddenly Dell blurted out, but I am curious. Live with us, Shushu. His words were immediately stopped by Windy. Dell, you can't do that. And so Shushu also spoke, actually. I also want to continue living in the Duke's family with you guys. But Dell still wondered, so what is the problem then? The question from him made Shushu seem quite confused. If I stay here, it might negatively affect the reputation of the Duke's family. At this moment Windy spoke up, it is okay, Shushu. Do you want to go outside with me? A little later, it seemed he had taken Shushu to a park. The place where Shushu used to live. There is no more evil director here now. At the same time, she also met her old friends again. So Windy urged her, go talk to your friends. We will wait for you in the carriage. This kindness made Shushu could not help but be moved. These friends seemed very happy to see Shushu again. Are you okay? You really became a princess. That is right, we are really grateful to you. Thank you, it is all thanks to you. However, these words of gratitude made Shushu quite confused. Wait, what have you guys been saying? They thought that Shushu had changed their orphanage. You are the one who dealt with the director, right? Thanks to that, a very gentle director came here. Everyone says it is because you are kind and intelligent, and the Duke's family also recognized that. Their compliments made Shushu ponder a bit. Everyone thinks that it is thanks to me getting rid of the director and changing the orphanage that I was adopted by the Duke's family. Come to think of it, I have not seen Telline anywhere. Where did he run off to? Hearing the name Telline, everyone suddenly froze. Telline became seriously ill after being locked in the closet. Everyone said there was something wrong with his body. Because he was constantly sick, he was transferred to another orphanage. We do not know for sure, but we heard that if we die, the adults will come to confirm, so the director got angry and said that he could not be allowed to die here. Hearing this, Shushu felt even sadder. Telline and I do not have any good feelings for each other, but I hope he will go to a place where he won't be beaten anymore. I have to go back now. So let us meet again next time. Now I am no longer Shushu. When she returned, Windy gently asked Shushu, "You are back, did you have fun talking to your friends?" However, she was curious, "Why did you bring me here?" He explained to her, "How do you feel about the orphanage? Is it a bit more awkward than being at the Duke's family? That means it is no longer your home. Why care about reputation or background because you are a child who can shine anywhere?" Windy's words made her think a bit. "As soon as I got home, he called for me and said he had something to show me, so where are we going now?" In another scene, the Duke suddenly carried her to a place. He then put her down. "Have you ever known what this place is for?" "No. This is where the history of Bylot is stored. This portrait here is of the ancestor of the Duke's family, including mine, and portraits of the descendants are also hung here. The Duke's family has few descendants, so there are still many empty spaces." His words seemed like Shushu still did not understand. Was he joking just now? The Duke then led her to a picture of someone. "This is our first ancestor. Bylot's first ancestor was a dragon. That is why the pupils are so long." However, Shushu wondered, what is a dragon? In her mind, she thought it was probably like a lizard but with wings. The Duke did not know how to explain it to her. Suddenly there was a noise. Shushu turned around. Suddenly a white-haired man appeared. His eyes looked incredibly beautiful. Who is that? At this time, the Duke was still calm. There are no dragons left in this world anyway. Suddenly Shushu called out, "Oh, the person over there." When she turned back to look, no one was there. "What the heck, did I see a ghost?" A moment later, the Duke led her to the crown display. "Because you are a baby dragon, so that is it, do you want to try it on? This is something I have not taken out for over 100 years. This made Shushu extremely surprised. "Are you taking it out now? Anyone can see that this is a treasure, so what if I drop it?" Her mood now was nothing short of bewildered. "What if it breaks? Then we will just make another one. So, I will let you choose the design that suits you best." Princess Shulina de Bylot. The Grand Duchy is a dependent nation of the Amnesia Empire, but I am still the head of a country. If you become my daughter, of course you will be a princess. This is a room for storing heirlooms for girls. I hope you will accept this place." Here, Shushu suddenly became bewildered. Shushu was even more startled. "What are you saying? That is absurd." So the Duke said, "Why do you think that is absurd? Am I not asking you to become my daughter right now? If so, it is reasonable for me to show you what my daughter can have and let you choose. Of course, I have no intention of forcing you. Even if you do not become my daughter, I do not intend to take it back." The Duke's words made her a little confused. "What do you mean you told me to try this on? It is absurd if this place is left empty. What about the girls who will be born later?" Despite that, he did not seem to care much. "Descendants, that is not my business. I am being very enthusiastic that I will consider you as my daughter, so why should I think about my descendants' daughters? Honestly, the beautiful clothes at the Duke's family, even the luxurious food I have never eaten, it is all like a dream. But if I am greedy, I will become unhappy. Until now, I do not even know if I can repay the favors the Duke has given me." At this time, Shushu said sadly, "Duke, if I accept all these things and refuse adoption, what are you going to do?" The Duke immediately replied, "If you are worried about that, then just become my real daughter." Faced with that request, Shushu was stunned. What should I do? Can this person really protect me? And can I protect this person? It is because the Duke does not know my circumstances. Suppose if the Duke knew my circumstances but still accepted me. If he fought with me, I would be very happy. Shushu softly said to the Duke, "If you adopt me, you might also be in danger. Are you talking about the imperial consort?" Hearing that name, Shushu's body became frightened. There is no way she would use mages to plan the kidnapping of an orphan who has nothing. If you find out I am a princess, then of course the Duke will suspect the imperial consort. The Duke worriedly asked, "How do you know the imperial consort is targeting you? I heard it when my psychic power was stolen. A few days ago I learned that I am a princess, so I have powers." Shli, Azella does not have psychic power. They are deceiving everyone. So that is why they tried to steal my psychic power. Suddenly Shushu shouted later, they will continue to search and steal it. The Duke's family will also be in danger because of me. Perhaps the imperial consort also sees the Duke as an enemy. However, he seemed quite calm. The Duke's family is not so weak that it can't protect a daughter. Even so, Shushu was still very scared. What if the imperial consort's power is greater than you think? Although we are safe this time, what if she attacks the Duke next time? What if she takes my brothers or Lucy or Edgar as hostages? At this moment, the Duke also spoke. You hiding your power is just like Bylot. Shushu still insisted. There will only be danger, trouble, and fatigue. You know all my circumstances, but you still want to adopt me. The Grand Duke softly replied. Those who are starving often can't forget the taste of food they have sampled, even briefly. Even if it is on a cliff, difficult to reach, they will crawl there to eat it at any cost. I am not the only one who loves you, Grand Duke. His mood suddenly darkened. Let us see. Shushu also became silent, waiting for him to speak. Do you absolutely not want to return to your birth family? Do you hate going back to them as they are not your family? Have you ever met your birth family directly? No, sir. I do not think I am a princess. If I really were a princess, why would I have to live like this? Neither the emperor nor the crown prince could protect a child like me. They did not protect me, and they only loved Azella. After all, this is the world within the book. A world gentle only to the main character, Azella. Until now, that has not changed. This happiness can't come to me. I do not have a family. I am all alone. After all that, the Grand Duke seemed to have made his final decision. So then my children and I will become your new family. I won't let anyone touch you, so live with us. The Grand Duke's words touched Shushu's small heart, making her burst into tears. I am just extremely embarrassed. I want to live happily with everyone. I also know I am enjoying so many things. I will definitely repay you in any way possible. So I hope you will become my papa. Faced with this situation, the Grand Duke embraced her. Parents do not make their children repay debts. As if Shushu had never cried before. With so many wounds like this, when will they heal? So, from now on, will you love me unconditionally? Suddenly, both Windy and Dell pushed the door open. Shushu, do not ask such obvious questions anymore. Their appearance surprised her. Dell stepped forward and said, you will really become our little sister. I never thought I would have a sister like Shushu. You think well, Shushu. We promise to protect you, so please protect our happiness too. Stay with us forever, Shushu. Besides themselves, there was no one else to rely on. They were lonely just like her. I will be loved, hear affectionate words, protect each other so we are not lonely. We will become a family, forever by each other's side. Before going to bed, the Grand Duke did not forget to ask, let us see, Shushu, which book do you like? This attentive gesture moved Shushu. Are you going to read me a book now, Papa? Shushu, do you want to choose which one do you like? So she excitedly said, oh, I like this one, Grand Duke. However, the atmosphere suddenly became subdued. Did I say something wrong or should I choose a different one? And then he questioned her. Why are you still calling me Grand Duke? We are papa and daughter now. Shushu gradually became enthusiastic. Father, calling you that is fine, of course, but just 2 words. Call me by 2 words. It seemed Shushu had an aversion to the 2 words papa. In her heart, she could say it naturally, but she could not utter it. Was it because of Shualina's memories when she was rejected by families, that she could not address him correctly? But she did not want to give up, even for something like this. Shushu slowly opened her mouth to speak. Finally, she successfully uttered the 2 words, Papa. The Grand Duke was overjoyed. That is right, my daughter. Now let us lie down. Once upon a time, there was a magic tower. Although still clumsy, he changed his tone for her. The image of the Papa she had always dreamed of was exactly like this. I really like Papa. Living together makes me incredibly happy. At that moment, the Grand Duke turned and whispered, Shushu, have you ever seen a puppy? However, she had already fallen asleep. Sweet dreams, Shushu. Inside Shushu's dream now, everywhere was filled with beautiful flowers. If I give them to Papa and my brothers, will they like them? Just then, a voice called her awake. Using your power any more will be dangerous. Immediately, Shushu startled awake. Suddenly, a person appeared in her room, bound by divine ropes. Shushu exclaimed in astonishment, who is that? Is it an assassin? If they intended to kill me, they could just throw a knife. The bag is so big I could fit inside. Could it be that the Empress is trying to kidnap me? In her fear, Shushu screamed, help me. At the same time, a white-haired boy appeared. It seemed Lucas knew she was in danger. It is Shulina, no mistake. This is Shualina's energy. As expected, Shulina is still alive. No one taught her to use her power systematically. Could she be in danger? He quickly ran outside and saw his father already standing there. Father, her. He gently reminded him, it is nighttime, but there are many prying eyes in the capital. I am casting a blanket of spiritual power, so it is fine now. Tell me slowly. He hurriedly told his father, she is still alive. Even he partially recognized the spiritual energy that Shulina had used in the Grand Duke's territory. But he still wondered, could she be in the Grand Duke's territory? I do not know that yet. She is alive. Then the Empress's words that she died are lies. Before the funeral, she hid her. Who dares touch my daughter and erase our family? I do not know who the culprit is, but I absolutely won't forgive those involved. He gently told his son, I will definitely find her and bring her back. Finally, I can keep my promise to Hirase. Promise me, father. If you can't bring her back, I will go myself to bring her home. Back with Shushu, after hearing the scream, all the servants rushed over in worry. Miss, are you alright? What is this? How did all these flowers suddenly appear? The servants were astonished by the scene. Even the Grand Duke was dumbfounded. Why are not you acting as trained? What are you doing? What are you still standing there for? Protect Shushu. Catch that person and extract information. Shushu, are you hurt anywhere? I'm still fine, sir. The current situation made her think. Last time I used my power, my head felt like it was going to explode, but this time it does not hurt at all. Instead, it feels refreshing. Wendy came over and asked, what are these? What happened? To her brother's question, Shushu could only stammer that. In my dream, there was a flower field. I swung on vines and played. When I woke up, it was like this. Do you all think I am a monster? Del seemed excited. Shushu, you're so amazing, so cool. Next time, dream of a room full of chocolate cake. Shushu could only laugh awkwardly. Maybe because they are still young, they are not too confused when they see this room. However, the Grand Duke seemed quite perplexed. He must be very worried about her safety. I thought this was not anything special, but seeing Papa's unusual expression, could my power be stronger than I thought? The next morning, Shushu was playing with the maids. Just then, Lucy came over, surprising everyone. Head maid, Miss is making a necklace. It is very cute. Oh my, you are making such beautiful necklaces. Lucy has one too. This moved her deeply. Miss, I will treasure it carefully. Did you make it yourself to give to me? Shushu explained, I wanted to give one to everyone, so I made them with Nina. I only used the scissors to cut a little. Miss worked so fast that I was bewildered. Suddenly Lucy asked curiously, why did you think of doing that? Shushu explained, it is from the ribbon Lucy gave me, and the handkerchief Edgar gave me, plus Del's tutu and Wendy's bracelet. Everyone gave me gifts when I became part of the family. I wanted to repay you. Lucy was so touched she cried. Miss, really? I will help you too. But Shushu quickly refused. I am finished now. I have to give them out in order, starting from the first floor and going up to the second. Lucy, keep it a secret from Papa. Yes, I will keep it a secret. At this moment, Shushu was walking with Hiloran. Is this the medal Miss gave me? It is truly an honor. I will cherish this gift, thank you, Miss. It is really nothing special. Suddenly, Hiloran turned and asked, what are you thinking, Miss? I am thinking that I have not done anything, yet everyone welcomes me. Immediately she refuted, Miss. Children are inherently loved, without any conditions. These words made Shushu pause. Without any conditions. Just then, she overheard a conversation between two maids. Have you heard about that? You mean the decree issued from the royal palace? Suddenly there is news from the royal family. What is going on? The person who finds her will be brought into the royal family, right? Unexpectedly, Shushu met Wendy on her way. What brings you all the way here? Seeing her, Del rushed over. Shushu, why are you here? Wendy suddenly wondered. But what is Sir Hiloran wearing around his neck? It is so ugly. Are you talking about this? If you are talking about this medal. This is the medal for the most affectionate knight. Del's words made Shushu feel sad. Let us go back, Sir Hiloran. Seems like you do not want to accept it. Immediately, Wendy tried to fix the situation. I never said that. Shushu. Give it to me, leave him out of it. Shushu asked Wendy, do you like my necklace? Yes, of course. Then I will give it to you. At this point, Del realized his mistake. No, me too, I want one too. Wendy had to intervene. This brat, stop it, Shushu is getting dizzy. But Del was still insistent. Shushu, I also want a necklace. I said it was ugly, but I really did not know Shushu made it. If you made it, then even something ugly becomes beautiful, right? I originally liked ugly things better. I said I liked you. So does that mean you are ugly? This statement made Del flustered. I originally meant ugly. In a good way, really, truly, from now on, ugly means beautiful. Later I will definitely change the law. Shushu smiled brightly and said, you should have changed the word. You are the most handsome brother in the world, right? If you continue to be lazy, your teacher will scold you. Now both of you go back to practice. I have to go to Papa now. Just like that, she said goodbye to her two brothers. A little while later, Shushu arrived at her papa's room. Everyone entered. What is the matter? Of course Miss wants to give that to you. However, his expression was a bit tired. Papa, why do you seem to be in a bad mood? Everyone is wearing one around their neck, but Papa has not received one yet, so is that why I have to give it to Papa quickly? She slowly approached him and gave him her gift. Papa, this. He wondered, why am I last? The most important person is saved for last, Your Highness. I thought I was the most important. So Papa does not need this. At this moment, Shushu appeared vulnerable. I specifically wrote here, Shushu's Papa is the best in the world. I put a lot of beautiful words into it. I even meticulously applied the finest glitter. So he lifted her closer. Will you put it on for me? Do you like it, Papa? He seemed very pleased. You did a beautiful job. Come to think of it, I have something to tell you. It is good that you came to see me. Something to tell me. He then gestured for all the servants to leave. The Grand Duke then spoke. A decree has been issued from the royal palace. These words seemed to make Shushu despair. I sensed a wave of spiritual power belonging to someone of the royal family. Whoever discovered it, quickly enter the royal palace. That is the familiar content I heard through rumors in the mansion. And my first thought upon hearing that rumor. Why are they looking for me now? Because I changed Shualina's fate, the one whose spiritual power was absorbed by Azella to live. The atmosphere gradually became silent. Then he continued, do you regret being adopted? You do not need to feel strange remembering your bloodline. Immediately Shushu retorted, no sir. I have never thought that. It is not that I miss them. It is that I am angry, that is why. Now I have found my happiness. I am very angry that they are suddenly looking for me now. My family is no one but Papa and my brothers. There is no way that is happening. Papa, promise me you won't send me away, even if His Majesty the Emperor personally comes looking for me. Here he affirmed, if you do not want to go, then I won't send you away. And there is one more thing. Hearing this, Shushu seemed quite surprised. He said, because there is one more thing I want to say. The little girl looked up with sparkling eyes. What is it? He replied, currently you need to be educated as a princess, so I am planning to find a private tutor for you. Or if you do not like. The little girl immediately responded, why would not I? I will study hard to be worthy of the Grand Duke's family, and then I can hear everyone call me a smart princess. Violet said, so my daughter enjoys studying and is a model student. Then I need to find the most famous tutor in the capital. The Bilot family is looking for a tutor to teach their only princess. Azella read the announcement, and her heart was filled with discomfort. Father said he would handle it and just left, only sending a kidnapper, and now this annoying excuse has arisen. Ultimately, the Grand Duke is protecting her, making it difficult to take her again. Because I became royalty through marriage, I can't sense spiritual power. The spiritual power was extracted, so that child could not awaken, and to prevent the Emperor from finding her. My plan will fail if the Emperor finds out his daughter is alive or dead. No, if the Emperor had not issued the decree, he would not have known about Shualina's awakening. So should I be happy? The fact that I am required to immediately return by royal decree means he ultimately could not find his daughter. Right before he finds the child, I have to act first. The flawed plan is just an amusement. Alright, I suddenly remembered an interesting picture. How about making the Grand Duke regret taking care of this child? Scene change, Shushu cheerfully greeted her teacher good morning. The teacher sternly replied, as expected, you still have not learned manners. A gentle smile is the basic knowledge of a noble lady. Smiling while showing your teeth looks very shallow. Indeed, I heard you lived in circumstances where you could not study before. It is a pity. It seems you have not corrected a single trace of being a common orphan. The little girl thought, what is that look like she is looking at something pitiful. It feels different from Lucy's gaze, or father's or my brother's when they say they feel sorry for me. Then, her attitude changed 180 degrees. It is all right. After all, it is very difficult to change your origins, so that is why I am here. Through this class, you can become a noble lady of a high-ranking family. What is this suffocating feeling? Does she mean I am acting like a common orphan? What is it like to act like a noble? Thinking, the little girl asked, to become a princess, do I only need to be good? The teacher just stood there and looked at her. Shushu's eyes began to tear up. The teacher replied, even if your pronunciation is clear, Speaking like that is not at all noble. Do it again. A sharp gaze looked at the little girl. Shushu had to stammer and repeat each word as instructed. The more she spoke, the more annoyed the teacher became. I heard you were an intelligent child, but you are more disappointing than I imagined. Both Lucy and Nina praised my mature way of speaking. Did they say that just to pamper me? If not, does the teacher dislike me? The teacher adjusted her glasses and said, manners, elegance, beauty. Only when you possess all these qualities can you stand at the starting line as a noble lady. Course bloodline is paramount. Hearing this, the little girl suddenly remembered something. Wait a minute. Bloodline can't be my flaw because I have royal blood. Moreover, Windy said that no matter my status or identity, just having me is enough. No matter where I am or what I do, I am still Shushu. Then she boldly replied to the teacher, Teacher, I am also a noble lady now. I am the only Grand Duchess of the Grand Duke Bylot. The teacher continued her condescending tone. Miss, that is not what I meant. The little girl replied, but teacher, you keep looking down on me. You did not even greet me when I entered. Her forehead began to sweat. Miss, these are words of encouragement to motivate you. Not letting her say any more, the little girl said, No, they are not. You have not mentioned anything related to the lesson and keep talking about my past. Miss, I understand that you are ashamed of your past as a common orphan, but your past is like your roots. Shushu replied, Teacher, I have never been ashamed of my past. If I were a commoner, should I be ashamed? I just want you to treat me with respect. All right. I am Lima Payne, miss. My first goal in this position is to help you catch up to half of a quarter of the princess. Hearing about the princess filled her head with question marks. Why do I have to chase after Azella here? Princess Azella, though still young, shines in the palace as a perfect example of a noble. Etiquette, speech, cultural level, and so on. The princess is a perfect person who has everything. Try your best to catch up. If you were the same age as young AE, you would have learned a lot already. Don't worry, I will make you a flawless young lady. Shushu, finding it hard to believe, snapped at her. Why do I have to learn so much when even the princess is still young? We are both 6 years old. Miss, a talented person does not quibble over other people's words. The little girl reluctantly endured, feeling annoyed. What is she trying to do? Does she think that those who were not born noble ladies should not speak? Lima said. The etiquette of commoners and nobles is different, so I understand you are not used to it. Why do you keep looking down on me being a commoner? She smiled and said, I am just saying what I see. I am not a commoner anymore, but even if I were, she has no reason to look down on me like this. Is being a noble everything? This is really too much. Just you wait, I will show you the fearsome power of a child. You provoked me first. Time passed to dinner, and the whole family gathered at the dining table. Suddenly, the 2 men in the family were startled. Did you know who dared to make our little sister cry like this? The little girl sobbed. What happened, Shushu? Why are you suddenly crying so loudly? What is wrong? Who made you sad? The girl sobbed as she replied, Father, are you ashamed of me? Her father shouted, What are you saying? Who dared to say such a thing to you? The little girl thought, so that is it. Heard him, Miss. Lima say she was afraid everyone in the Grand Duke's family would be ashamed of me. Then she said, Father, am I a shameful child? Would everyone naturally be ashamed that I am an orphan? He replied, Who said such nonsense? Was it the teacher? The teacher said I was a shameful child of the Grand Duke's family. I am a shameful daughter. Hearing this, her father tensed. Lucy, immediately summon the teacher for me. You called for me, Your Grace, Violet said. I heard you scolded my daughter. She replied, How dare I speak harshly to her ladyship, he said. But why did you make the child feel ashamed? Her ladyship felt that way, she felt ashamed in my class. The Duke frowned and said, My 6-year-old daughter is in class when she is suddenly asked if she should be ashamed of her past. What in the world are you teaching her? While getting acquainted with her ladyship, stories about the past naturally come up. It seems she felt a bit ashamed. She thought I knew that because of the vow it would be difficult for me to stand my ground, but even so, this is terrible. My daughter has nothing to be ashamed of in her past. She replied, It is just that her ladyship needs to recognize her shortcomings. Only by acknowledging her flaws can she develop further. It is a process many children go through. Shushu thought, did I misunderstand? No, or is she making things complicated because she hates me? Your Grace, children will naturally say what they feel. In education, calm assessment is the most important thing. To criticize coldly. Her ladyship cannot be compared to other young ladies of the same age in the capital. How can she speak so well? Don't tell me everyone will be swayed by this. She continued, as the person in charge more than anyone else, I want her to become an example for other young ladies, a perfect person who can make the Grand Duke's mansion shine. Violet interrupted her mid-sentence. Wait a minute. Shushu, who are you? I am your daughter, father. That is right. You are the only daughter of the Grand Duke family. There is no reason to compare my daughter to anyone in this capital. In fact, others should be striving to be like Shushu. Hearing her father's words, she felt uneasy. My intention was not that. Typically, to instill fundamental principles in noble young ladies, invoking motivation. Ignoring her words, Violet embraced the little girl and said, I find my daughter very lovely. Therefore, I swore I would never let this child shed tears again. So you are fired. Even if you defend yourself, you are fired. Your Grace, that would be very difficult. I must be responsible for her ladyship's education. Hearing this, the little girl caught the signal. Must be responsible, what does she mean? She stammered, if I return like this, my reputation will be ruined. I will adjust my methods to suit her ladyship. Why is she speaking so desperately? Something is suspicious. Then the little girl spoke up, yes, father. It is true that she made me sad, but how can you dismiss someone so quickly? Violet, hearing his daughter, questioned, but Shushu, she made you sad. How big of a sin is that? You can have a kind, famous, and more skilled teacher, can't you? Time for the finishing blow. Cuteness strategy. Father, I want to learn from this teacher. Is that all right? Can you grant me this wish? It is your first wish, so how can I refuse? My daughter is so kind. Such a soft heart. But if my daughter sheds tears again, then it will be the end for you. Hearing those words from the Duke's mouth made her tremble in fear. The scene changed to Shushu's room. The teacher is suspicious. I need to investigate. Suddenly, someone appeared before her eyes. But only as a three-dimensional image. The little girl slowly sat up. She stepped out of bed. Who are you? It is amazing. I have never met you before, but why do you seem so familiar? The little girl's eyes sparkled as she looked towards him. She reached out to touch him, but she could not feel anything. Why can't my hand touch you? Then the boy whispered something, be careful. I can't hear you clearly. Please say it again. Be careful. As soon as he finished speaking, the boy disappeared. Where did he go? Was he a ghost? He told me to be careful. In this situation, he must be referring to Ms. Lima, right? Come to think of it, I have not appeared in the newspapers yet, so there is no way my information could have spread so widely. But it seems the teacher had information about me from the beginning. She said she must be responsible. As an associate professor at the Royal Academy, she still has many other places to go even if she is fired. And the distance between the capital and the Duke's mansion is quite far, so it won't have a big impact on her reputation. The more she thought, the more frustrated she became. Wait, if it is the capital, could it be on the orders of the imperial consort? It is better to be careful. I will keep the teacher close and observe her carefully. Scene change. Shushu is sitting on a swing in the mansion's flower-filled garden. She still has the same sad look in her eyes. Nina runs towards her from afar. Miss, are you cold? I brought a blanket. Miss, have you been sad all day because of your damaged pajamas? Nina, how did you know? She replied. I overheard the laundry maid talking in the hallway. Don't worry, I will replace the ribbon for you. Thank you, Nina. But am I a bad child? What are you saying, miss? She recalled the time she scolded the servant before. Because it was the first gift father gave me, I got angry. Nina gently comforted her. Because it was a set of pajamas you treasured, of course you are sad. And you do not have to worry about bad-mouthing or anything. Shushu replied, it is okay. I know there are people in the mansion who dislike me. Hearing this, Nina was shocked. You already know, the little girl said, I grew up under scrutiny. I can distinguish between those who like me and those who do not. Nina was moved to tears. And you are still worried about her. Our miss is truly the kindest child in the world. By the way, miss, since we are on this topic, I also wanted to say that the professor was talking to that maid too. The professor, you mean Ms. Lima. I knew you were not feeling well because I overheard that maid complaining to the professor. I saw it while the moon was out. Shushu thought. She remained silent after meeting father, but she is bad-mouthing me behind my back. Ms. Lima, who emphasizes nobility, getting close to those doing menial work. There must be a purpose. Nina, please call the maid from the laundry room here for me. I must find out what happened. Shushu sat up and asked, what is your name? The maid trembled as she replied, it is Frayne. I am truly sorry, miss. I have committed a deadly sin. I did not do it on purpose. I did not know the ribbon had come off. I am so sorry. I thought she knew I heard her bad-mouthing me. That is not what I meant. The ribbon was an accident. Lift your head, Frayne. Then why? Shushu replied, well, actually, I am in need of another personal maid. I am very satisfied with what you said immediately after making a mistake. I always like straightforward people. The maid raised her head, dumbfounded. You mean I will be accepted as a personal maid? I will go talk to Papa. Hearing this, she smiled, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, miss, my life has changed, I have been promoted, goodbye to those damp and dirty jobs. Nina, seeing this, said, Miss, are you really letting her become a personal maid like me? The little girl replied, if she is as straightforward and sincere as Frayne, she will be a good fit for me. Thank you, miss. Later, in Shushu's room, if it hurts you must tell me immediately, okay? Yes, thank you. As long as it does not bleed too much, it is fine. Oh, and there is something. Yes, miss. Actually, I heard something a little upsetting, so I have a question. Did Frayne speak ill of me? Hearing such an innocent question made the maid crumble inside. She immediately denied it, miss, absolutely not. Who would dare fabricate such a lie? The little girl said with a hurt expression. Really, I heard it from someone trustworthy. I truly did not mean it, Shushu said, so Frayne is innocent, should I ask in front of everyone? Hearing this, the maid kowtowed and apologized profusely. I have committed a terrible sin. Shushu replied, I just wanted to be close to Frayne. But I can't keep someone who hates me as a personal maid. She cried and said, how could I hate you, miss? That teacher kept tempting me, so I spoke. I never thought it would come to this. The teacher tempted Frayne. Yes. She would often subtly mention you when talking to the other maids. She often tells stories that are quite vague, both positive and negative. Shushu thought I felt that way too. And she actively approached those who might interpret things negatively to build relationships with them. If what Frayne said is true, then the teacher is secretly spreading strange rumors about me. I will have to investigate the reason behind this. Frayne, I have an instruction. Can you carry it out? Her eyes sparkled as if she had struck gold. Please give me any task, miss. I will obey. Then the two whispered to each other. Time passed to evening. Papa, lie down here quickly. Today let us finish the book we did not finish yesterday. The little girl lay beside her father, tucked neatly under the blankets. Am ready. The little pig Piaf, smelling the scent, followed the trail of herbs. Piaf smelled a sweet fragrance wafting from a distant mountain. Finally, this time it must be the herb. Found it, I see it, as he approached and sniffed carefully. He realized it was not an herb, but the sweet smell of chocolate. Disappointed, he munched on the chocolate and continued on his way. Just as the little one was about to fall asleep, a subordinate entered the room to announce, Your Grace, there is an urgent matter to report. He replied, come back in an hour. The person said with a serious expression, Please forgive me, but this is truly urgent. Shushu thought it is Kahil. Him coming all the way here means it is something very important. The little girl spoke up to help the young man. Papa must have something to attend to. Papa, you should go and see. I'm sorry. I will be right back. Come back soon, bye-bye, Papa. Alone in her room, what do I do now? I wanted to read with Papa. She tossed and turned restlessly. Should I eavesdrop a little? Thinking is doing. The little girl stealthily followed. Inside, a voice said, Currently, Viscount Baldwin and Baron Elgar are visiting. I heard there is a big problem in the territory. To come in the middle of the night, is it that serious? They say they are at their wits' end due to an epidemic and asked for Violet's help in any way possible. Have you found the cause yet? Not yet. Shushu, hiding by the door, thought an epidemic, but why are they coming to Papa? Papa is working hard to solve the problem. Could they be people related to the Duke's family? Where did you take them? I led them to reception room number 1. Currently, the young master is with them. Suddenly, his eyes glanced over and saw his princess standing there. He immediately picked her up. I'm sorry. It seems I can't continue reading tonight. Did someone come? Can I go too? He replied, It is too late. You have to go to bed now. Understand. Good night, Papa. The little girl was taken back to bed again. Ignoring this, Shushu got out of bed and ran to the window. A lot of people came. Seems the disease is very serious. Then suddenly, her brother called her name. What is it, brother? Her brother whispered, Come here quickly. There are a lot of people downstairs. Let us sneak a peek. But we might get scolded. If that happens, I will take all the blame for you. Let us go. The female knight intervened. That is not allowed. He whined, Why do we always get caught in the hallway? It is bedtime. He picked up his little sister, ignoring the female knight. I am going with Shushu. If Windy catches me carrying you. I performed a perfect slash 1,000 times today, so I can hold and carry you anywhere now. A new horizon towards a bright future. This is a secret adventure. Let us go, Shushu. Seeing how delusional he was, the female knight could only shake her head. Del carried his sister Shushu in his arms, followed by Duchess Hiloran for their protection. Meanwhile, Violet and the elders were in a tense meeting. One of them reported, The people in the territory are dying. If this continues, it will surely spread throughout the Grand Duke's territories. We must quickly find a countermeasure. The two siblings, Del and Shushu, curiously stood at the crack in the door, eavesdropping on their father's meeting. Another one said, at first, everyone simply complained of high fever and vomiting, but on the third day, blood started pouring from all over their bodies. Violet was extremely worried. What should we do? The doctors do not know the reason, so finding the cause is the most urgent matter. We will definitely find the cause no matter what measures we have to take. Hearing this, the elder stammered, "Please help us, Your Grace." Shushu, having overheard a part of the conversation, pondered a bit. Seems to be a highly fatal infectious disease. The symptoms are too familiar. Suddenly, Del spoke up. It seems a major epidemic has broken out. Everyone in the room heard him and turned to look at the two children. Shushu froze, hurriedly telling Del to be quiet. Then Duke Violet stood up. "Please excuse me for a moment." Seeing their father slowly approaching, Del and Shushu turned pale with fright, not daring to move. They were sweating profusely as their father began to speak. Then Violet, with an angry expression, rebuked Hiloran. "This is a great responsibility of a duke. Don't you understand?" Hiloran understood the importance of the work, and she bowed her head in apology. Seeing her father scold the Duchess, Shushu tried to explain. "It is not like that, Papa. I begged her because it was noisy outside and I could not sleep. That was my fault." Hearing this, Del spoke up to defend her. "Shushu is not wrong. If you're gonna scold someone, scold me. Actually, I was the one who kidnapped Shushu and brought her down here." Violet breathed a sigh of relief and gently asked, "Did you two want to be with me?" Both siblings brightened up, their eyes sparkling. "Yes." He instructed Hiloran, "Don't get carried away next time." She bowed her head and replied, "Yes, Your Grace." Violet introduced his children to the guests, Viscount Baldwin and Baron Edgar, the lords of the Eastern Territories. "And this lovely child is my daughter." The little girl cheerfully said, "I am Shulina de Bailot. It is a pleasure to meet you both. Please continue your conversation. I will stay here." Both gentlemen praised the well-behaved and adorable child. "So, shall we continue?" Baron Edgar said. "Although the cause is unknown, everyone died with their bodies covered in blood. The entire village was drenched in blood. Blood drenched the whole village like a lake. That is Ruby Lake disease." Violet realized he had heard it somewhere before. Azella resolved the incidents using her psychic powers. That is the incident where she was praised as a saint. But why is this disease appearing? According to the information in the book, Ruby Lake disease is a disease that appeared around the middle of the original story. That place is not part of the Grand Duke's territory either. It is one of the territories belonging to the Imperial Consort's faction. In fact, Ruby Lake disease is an event caused by absorbing poison. Violet recounted, "While investigating the source of the disease, my father confessed to Azella and was beheaded. Windy became the new Grand Duke. It was Azella's mesmerizing power." Shushu was frightened and trembled, clutching her father's clothes. Because of psychic powers, father was framed and beheaded. Hearing this, Shushu became even more scared. Violet hugged her. "Are you hurt somewhere?" He asked Kahir to bring Baden. The little girl sobbed, "No need. I'm okay. I'm just a little scared." Del wiped her tears. Perhaps Shushu is scared because she is still a child. "Don't worry." She then asked, "What if father and my brothers also get sick? Will the children at the orphanage be okay?" "Everything will be all right. It will be resolved soon." Violet said this to reassure her. But she still felt uneasy. Really? What if the damage in the territory becomes more severe, and they come to the Imperial City to find the source of the problem? What if they blame father? "Will I lose my family again?" Shushu sobbed, and her brothers came to comfort her. "Shushu, father will take you back to your room. Or do you want to sleep with me tonight?" But the little girl wanted to go with Del. He rejoiced. "I knew Shushu would trust me, but she was actually thinking that he looked the most free." Del kindly asked, "Are you okay? I did not know you were so scared. Lean on me and sleep tonight. If the disease comes near, I will blow it away. I will protect you so that no illness comes near you. Can you sleep now?" Shushu was still worried and found it hard to sleep. Honestly, she was more worried about her family than about getting sick herself. But it is not a disease, it is poison. She thought, although the location has been changed to the Grand Duke's territory, looking at the extent of the damage, the poison must have been poured into the village well as in the original story. There are many strange things. I suspect the incident happened many years earlier. Azella is still young, so she should not be able to act so powerfully yet. Why would they poison the well? Could it be? Shushu suddenly sat up. Del was surprised. "What is wrong?" "Brother, if someone is framed, who is the real culprit?" Why are you suddenly saying that? Shushu said urgently. The book, it is the story in the book I read recently. Dell crossed his arms and thought, isn't the real culprit the first person accused? Or maybe it is the person who would benefit if that person were deemed the culprit. Shushu's eyes widened as she looked at him. She reasoned, the first person to point out the culprit was Azella. So was this situation beneficial to the imperial concubine? Did she kill the entire village for personal gain? Would Azella become a saint in this cruel play? I do not remember how I read those documents. The little girl thought, if the events in the original work were orchestrated by two people, then this time the mastermind is the same. Clearly, the reason the event was pushed up suddenly was because of me, because I was adopted by the Grand Duke. So Dell, worried about her, asked, are you okay? At that moment she kept thinking negatively. Was it because they could not marry her spiritual power that this happened? She signaled Dell to be quiet. What should I do? So that is why they attacked the Grand Duke's territory where I am living. How can I solve this? What should I do? Dell stared at her. He hugged her and comforted her. It is okay. No matter what happens, I will protect you, Shushu. The next morning, Frayne brought the little girl a bottle of medicine. Shushu's hands trembled as she held it. The young lady has really taken the bait. All right, tell me in detail what happened, Frayne. The little girl hesitated to open the medicine bottle. Frayne handed Shushu a bottle of perfume and said, she really took the bait. Frayne felt scared. Miss, if I had known she was such a person, I would never have associated with her. So what is it? Shushu asked her nanny. She opened the bottle. Finding the scent very unpleasant, she immediately covered her nose. That was close. This could be a dangerous scent. I have to be careful next time. She was surprised to see its color. It became transparent. Frayne continued, she told me to hide this on the young lady's dressing table very carefully, and then she said that the young lady would be kicked out of the house. She said anxiously, this is clearly dangerous. Just by looking at it you can tell it is a strange liquid. Shushu asked immediately, I told you to cooperate well. Did you follow my instructions? Frayne was embarrassed. Yes. She also said that if I did not do it properly, she would tell on me for bad-mouthing the young lady. She does not even know that the young lady has already forgiven me. Shushu told her to tell the teacher that she had hidden it well, and if she asked her to do anything else, she should do it, but let her know. Frayne, I understand. Shushu examined the bottle carefully. What is this that she wanted me to hide in my room? Will I be kicked out of the house because of this medicine? What kind of medicine is this? The little girl looked closer and she finally figured out what it was. This is Ruby Lake poison. The mass poisoning deaths occurred on the Grand Duke's territory after he adopted me. If the poison from that mastermind is found in my room, at best I will be expelled, at worst executed. However, because of my spiritual power I am still valuable. They won't let me die. The status of a Grand Duchess, even if only for a short while. 'Cause I am still young. Compared to execution, the probability of being expelled is higher. After that, if the imperial concubine captures me, it will be a little different from the original, but I will be taken to the Marquis's house again. She kept thinking, if I follow the original, Shulina will move to the Marquis's house after leaving the orphanage, probably around this time. The capture has become more difficult because I have entered the Grand Duke's house. The hidden poison will be resolved early in a few years. Nina curiously asked, what is that bottle? It does not seem like the item you were looking for, miss. She replied, Frayne brought it to me. Nina was bewildered. Perfume, it is still too early for you to use it, miss. She said, it is not perfume. It is actually poison, your highness. Shushu wondered if it was okay to say that. Miss. Lima told Frayne to hide it in my room. Nina was horrified. But what is it? I do not know either. I think I will have to ask her myself. Nina offered to go in her place for safety. But Shushu was determined to ask herself. Shushu went to Seams. Lima herself. The teacher invited Shushu in. At first, she cheerfully and warmly greeted her teacher. She mentioned that it was not the classroom and it was not time for class yet. She cheerfully ran inside. I came because I have something to ask. She took the teacher's hand. But then she flung her hand away, showing her attitude. Lima said sorry because of her habit of not liking being touched. Shushu cheerfully replied, it is okay. She looked around and noticed there were not many belongings. Could it be that she was planning to escape immediately after poisoning me? Suddenly, she saw an open suitcase. The little girl asked, are you going somewhere? Lima just smiled. The little girl guessed. It seems she does not intend to answer. The little girl then said, it is nothing else but this. She took out the bottle. I found this in my room. I am curious what it is. Shushu observed the teacher's attitude. Her expression remained calm. I do not know either. Why is the princess asking me? Shushu inquired further. You do not know? I thought you would obviously know. Lima adamantly denied it. Lima looked closely at the bottle and realized it was poison. Shushu then said, I think the scent is exactly the same as your perfume, teacher. Suddenly, Frayne opened the door and called the teacher. Miss. Lima shouted, you could not even hide it in a child's room. Frayne panicked. She stammered and Lima frowned. Truly useless. Oh well, I will just have to bear with it. Shushu yelled, what are you planning to do? Lima scowled, enraged. How did you know this is poison? Shushu resolutely interrogated her. Did the imperial concubine order you? Lima yelled at Frayne. Frayne flinched, trembling with fear, and hesitantly agreed. She asked me to come here quickly, snatch the bottle and tie her hands. Frayne obeyed Lima. Teacher, what do you want to do? Shushu shouted in despair. Frayne still tied the little girl up. Shushu remembered the suitcase. She realized it was big enough to fit her inside. She spoke up, you were planning to kidnap me from the beginning, were not you? You really are a bad person. Lima tightened the ropes, her voice filled with resentment. A bad person, you are the bad one. How dare you run away after poisoning and causing widespread deaths throughout the Grand Duke's territory? You wicked child. She pinched the little girl's cheek sarcastically, and Shushu tried to appear strong, staring into her face. Lima looked at Shulina with a sinister gaze. How dare you run away after poisoning and causing widespread deaths throughout the Grand Duke's territory? You wicked child. Shulina was surprised that she could blatantly blame her like that. Lima also reminded Frayne, if Shulina becomes a runaway murderer, you and I will also be accomplices. Frayne stammered, what should I do? As expected, Lima had come up with a perfect plan. The Grand Duke's adopted daughter was a cursed child. As soon as she stepped foot in the mansion, rumors spread of people dying one after another. A few days later, to prove it, a bottle of poison was found in her room. Shulina finally understood why Lima only chose to meet with those who hated her. It was to frame her for murder by poisoning. Lima took a cloth and stepped forward, wanting to blindfold Shulina. At that moment, Violet and Windy arrived just in time. They stopped Lima's newly formed scheme. Seeing his sister's wrists tied, Windy worriedly ran over and asked if she was all right. He could not help but blame himself. I should have dealt with it right away when you cried. While comforting Windy, Shulina heard a cough. As soon as she looked up, she saw Violet choking Lima. Hiloran quickly covered Shulina's eyes so she would not have to witness the violence. He furiously questioned, how dare you threaten my daughter? Lima, despite struggling to breathe, still pleaded for mercy. Shulina, seeing the situation was not good, quickly shouted, you can't kill her yet. She explained to Violet that Lima was the culprit in the murder case and that she might have the antidote. Moreover, they also had to interrogate her to find out where else she had spread the poison. Violet finally calmed down and ordered Hiloran to take Shulina back to her room. Hiloran had only taken a few steps carrying Shulina when he heard a scream. I'm not a god, please save me, miss. It turned out that Windy was pointing his sword at Frayne, wanting to kill her. Shulina pleaded in a low voice, I want to take Frayne with us too. Windy firmly disagreed. Even though it is your request, this time I think I have to put her in jail. Shulina still could not bear to see Frayne locked up like that. She had no choice but to say that Frayne was the spy who approached Lima at her request. Rewinding a few hours, Shulina, Nina, and Frayne were discussing their strategy. Shulina would go see Lima herself, and about 10 minutes later, Nina would bring Violet or Windy to the room. Frayne would follow Shulina into the room and pretend to be on Lima's side to see her true intentions. And everything really went according to Shulina's plan. Back in the present, Shulina tried to persuade Windy. She was just faithfully following my orders. Frayne looked towards Shulina, tears welling up in her eyes with emotion. Frayne finally returned safely to Shulina, even happily brushing her hair. Even though everything was over, Frayne still could not avoid feeling self-reproach. She thought Shulina would abandon her. But not only did Shulina not abandon her, but she also covered up her mistakes. Frayne now clearly recognized her mistakes. Just for bad-mouthing the young lady, you could have punished me. Yet you generously forgave me, someone who only thinks of her own benefit. Frayne could not help but exclaim, you truly are an angel, miss. At that moment, Windy also rushed over to check on Shulina. She, on the other hand, was only concerned about whether they had found the antidote or if the person behind it had revealed anything useful. Windy was still more worried about Shulina's condition. She knew that if she did not answer, Windy would keep asking, so she just assured him that she really was fine. Windy then answered Shulina's question. We still do not know who the mastermind behind this is. Shualina's face could not hide her sadness upon hearing this. Suddenly, Windy whispered in her ear, "I think it might be the imperial concubine." Shualina felt very helpless. Even if she knew who was behind it, there was no way to fight back. In the current situation, they could not confront the imperial concubine. If they approached carelessly, they would commit the crime of provoking the royal family. Shualina put aside the matter of the mastermind for now and asked Windy if they had found the antidote. Windy fell silent. "This poison has no antidote." Shualina worried, "Then how can we treat them?" Windy was furious. "That person did not think about the consequences from the beginning. What can we do now to detoxify them? Isn't the royal family responsible for caring about the people? The people have shed blood and are dying slowly. Even if they are subjects of the Grand Duke, they are still citizens of this country. This is absolutely unforgivable." Windy gently stroked Shualina's head. "Father will be here soon. He will decide on the punishment and then arrange to come see you. You were almost kidnapped today. This is not a trivial matter." Shualina simply thought it was the culprit, so she wanted to confront her herself. Because she had previously sent someone to call her brother and father, she thought nothing would happen. At this moment, Violet suddenly appeared at the door and questioned, "What if the person who kidnapped you was a mage? What if they had taken you away before I arrived?" Shualina tried to explain it was not like that. But Violet had no intention of stopping. "What if that blade was placed against your neck? What if they poured poison into your mouth? You could have been seriously injured." Shualina knew that, but for everyone's sake, she was still willing to sacrifice herself. At least thanks to that, they got the information. If she had not acted, no one would have suspected Lima. Violet coldly interrupted, "No one wants their little daughter to go gather information." Shualina, upon hearing this, was momentarily speechless. Violet was truly frightened. If anything happened to Shualina, he definitely would not be able to forgive himself. This was not what Shualina wanted. Compared to saving many people, Shualina just did not want her father to suffer. So, with tears in her eyes, she apologized to Violet. Seeing his daughter like this, Violet could not bear to scold her any further. He opened his arms and welcomed Shualina into a hug. And she did not hesitate to run straight towards him. After this incident, the bond between father and daughter grew even stronger. At night, Violet read Shualina a bedtime story and told her to go to sleep early. Before falling asleep, Shualina asked again, "Today Piaf will find the herbs and be able to cure the illness, right, father?" In the book, the little pig Piaf found a herb and smelled it. The diverse fragrances gently brushed past Piaf's nose. Shualina thought for a moment. Nectar. Couldn't it make the poison in the human body flow away instead of staying in one place, like a scent passing by without lingering? The more Shualina thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed. If there is no poison in the body, it is like not being poisoned at all. Wouldn't the pain disappear then? If you want to get it into the body safely, there is only one way. Shualina looked at the poison bottle on her bedside table. She finally realized you have to curl up the poison like this and push it out. Shualina's spiritual power was to make things in her imagination a reality. As long as she imagined something concretely, anything would become real. No sooner said than done. Shualina asked Violet for the poison bottle. She would use the poison as a medium to find the poison in everyone's bodies and then force the poison out. The object containing and removing the poison had to be small and edible, preferably round to contain the poison. So Shualina began to transform the poison in her hand into small pills, so it would be easier for everyone to swallow. Violet watched in astonishment as the pills floated in mid-air. Shualina brought them in front of Violet. "Father, you can give these to the people who have been poisoned. It will help separate the poison from their bodies and expel it. You have to give this to everyone quickly." Before she could finish her sentence, Shualina fainted in Violet's arms. In her daze she murmured, "Everything will be okay, right? I hope father won't feel tired anymore." Violet could not hide his emotions. "Thanks to you, I do not feel tired anymore." Violet saw that Shualina was still very small, not even grown up yet, but she tried her best to worry about him. He was truly touched by her. As expected, everything went smoothly. Shualina even made it into the newspapers. Nina and Frayne, standing beside her, were proud of the dress they chose for Shualina, which looked incredibly cute. Even Shualina had to admit it. Through this article, Shualina officially announced her existence to the world. At the same time, it also contained the story of how she helped everyone create the glass beads without mentioning her spiritual powers. So, Shualina suddenly became a talented Grand Duchess. In addition, with Violet's efforts to resolve the situation. At least Shulina heard that the family's image within the Grand Duke's territory was improving compared to before. Nina informed Shulina, I heard that the Grand Duke's family bought a lot of newspapers at the market this time. Frayne added, the newspaper editor was very happy. I heard that your article was so popular that they printed many more copies. Shulina wondered, wouldn't it be enough to just buy enough? Frayne explained, it is an article about you, miss. It seems the Grand Duke is collecting them. After hearing the maid, Shulina unconsciously recalled Windy and Violet's conversation yesterday. When she heard them mention a newspaper office or something, Shulina thought they were planning to go into the newspaper business. She suspected that Violet had bought the entire newspaper office because of her, no joke. Even though she felt that everyone was overdoing it, Shulina could not help but feel happy. The next second, she immediately asked Nina and Frayne to dress her up beautifully so she could go out. On the street, Shulina cheerfully called out, Father, this way. Violet helplessly ran to her. If we do not finish today, we can come back another time. Don't run anymore. Shulina was a little worried. She knew Violet was very busy. Every night, after reading her a bedtime story, he would go back to work. Violet, knowing the anxiety in Shulina's heart, gently comforted her. I am a strong knight, so I can't be defeated by fatigue or anything like that. Shulina was reassured. This trip was made to commemorate the resolution of the incident, so she had to properly enjoy the time she spent with her father. The two of them then arrived at a candy store. The employee, upon seeing them, was startled and trembled. Shulina did not understand what her father had done to make the person tremble like that. Her father was not a bad person. Although surrounded by the so-called curse of the Grand Duke's family, he was not a problem at all. Seeing Violet still calm, Shulina could not help but feel pity. Has father gotten used to this? Until now, so many people have avoided him, but he does not seem to care. Violet gently asked Shulina, what is wrong, my child? Shall I read this candy's name for you? Actually, he had been paying attention to the employee's attitude, but since today was their father-daughter day, he did not want his mood to sour in front of his daughter. The employee, still slightly trembling, said, if you have any products you would like to purchase, please let me know. Shulina, finding the mint flavor not too sweet, thought her father would like it. Without much thought, she recommended it to Violet. Violet took a taste and found it quite agreeable. Shulina excitedly told the employee, wrap up all the mint-flavored ones for me. Then, without waiting for Violet to pay, she took out her own purse and paid. She instructed the employee to pack a separate portion for them to take with them, and to send the rest to the Grand Duke's estate. Shulina, holding the newly purchased box of candy, walked out of the store with Violet. She turned to Violet and said, I am really grateful to you, father. Since it was the first item she had bought, Shulina really wanted to give it directly to Violet. The reason she gave him mint candies was so he could eat them while working to stay alert. Just then, a stranger suddenly bumped into Shulina, causing the box of candy to fall to the ground. Coincidentally, it rolled to a stop in front of the stranger. Shulina stared at the stranger's face, feeling like she had seen them somewhere before. Shulina suddenly had a bad feeling. Her feet wanted to move towards the box of candy to pick it up, but she could not bring herself to do it. Shulina wondered, could that be someone I have met before? Violet gently patted Shulina's head. Wait a moment, I will pick it up for you. The stranger's eyes remained fixed on Shulina from the beginning, and when the stranger and Violet were near each other, Shulina felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Seeing Violet say something to the stranger, Shulina wondered if they knew each other. After a moment, Violet returned to Shulina. He picked her up and left. Shulina looked back at the stranger, then back at Violet. The stranger was none other than His Majesty, the Emperor. After hearing that the Grand Duke had captured the Empress's spy, he secretly sent someone to investigate the reason why the Empress had sent a spy to the Grand Duke's estate. The first report was that the spy had visited an orphanage, strangely one that only housed girls. At that time, a bad premonition crossed the Emperor's mind. Shulb, the son he had always imagined, might not be a son. After that, he gathered all the rumors about a 6-year-old girl from the orphanage the spy had visited. The most recent news was that the girl had been adopted by the Grand Duke's family. The person sent to investigate reported back that the child's name was Shulina. Only then was the Emperor certain that the child was not Shulb. If it was a boy, the name would be Shulb. If a girl, it would be Shulina. The child's name had been chosen by him and his wife, Hirez, together. Although he did not understand why his lost child was named Shulina, the girl had lived with the name they had given. The Emperor could not help but blame himself. If he had found her sooner and protected her properly, she would not have grown up in an orphanage. The more he thought about it, the less he could leave it alone. to meet Shulina as quickly as possible. The emperor did not hesitate to go to the Grand Duke's territory. He wondered if he found his child, what should he do first? Call her name, hug her, or say, "I am your father"? And what would she say when she saw him again? Say she missed him or resent him, because he was only now looking for her. When he finally met Shulina, the emperor recognized her at first glance. With just one look, he could confirm that Shulina was his daughter. But next to Shulina was the Grand Duke, claiming to be her father. That word, father, reminded the emperor that his child had been adopted by the Grand Duke's family. Just that one word, father, and the years of not being able to protect her made his heart ache. Violet was the first to greet him. "Have you been well?" The emperor politely replied, "It has been a while, Grand Duke." Inwardly he thought, his demeanor truly lives up to his reputation as the cold-hearted Grand Duke Violet. Although the emperor did not know why Violet had adopted Shulina, he assumed that with Violet's personality, reclaiming Shulina would be easy. Looking at Shulina, the emperor made up his mind that he would definitely bring her back. Violet, silent until now, finally spoke, asserting his claim, "Shulina is my daughter." The emperor looked at Violet in surprise. Clearly, the Grand Duke knew Shulina was a member of the royal family. So why did he have that attitude? He clenched his fist, realizing Violet's intention not to return his child. The emperor warned, "She is a princess, a blood relative of the royal family." Violet immediately questioned, "Then why did you let her live in such hardship all this time? For 6 long years. You could not find her, nor protect her." The emperor did not understand. "My child lived in hardship. The orphanage looked adequate and warm, and the children seemed happy. So he had thought that even though Shulina grew up in an orphanage, she certainly did not grow up in unhappiness." Finally, Violet left him with just one sentence. "Are you now going to claim your right as her father?" The emperor, upon hearing this, was speechless. He could only watch helplessly as Violet carried Shulina away. The emperor screamed silently, "Don't go, Shulina. Please look this way even just once." Throughout Violet and Shulina's outing, the emperor followed and observed them. And he realized that Shulina was truly happy. Not in his arms, but in the arms of the Grand Duke. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. His child was still alive, so how dare they say she was dead? They even changed her gender so he could not find her. From the beginning, he had thought the Empress was a woman he could not associate with, but even Amelia, Hirei's personal physician for the past 10 years, had lied. The Emperor had trusted her just as Hirei's had. She had affirmed with certainty, "It is a prince." The Empress said the prince was stillborn, but he was born perfectly healthy. The Empress passed away after giving birth, so a servant was responsible for caring for the prince. We informed the Empress of the prince's death, and then the funeral was held according to customary traditions. Both the Emperor and Lucas had sensed the child's spirit power, so they had not doubted Amelia's words that Shulb had been born. But if she had dared to collude with the Empress in this matter, he would turn over every stone to find and kill her. After 6 long years, the Emperor had finally found his lost child. The Emperor silently resolved, "I will definitely get my child back." The scene shifts to a royal banquet. Azella, dressed splendidly, appeared under a shower of compliments. She smiled on the outside, but inwardly she cursed, wondering where her parents were. She thought excitedly, "It would be great if my older brother were here. Everyone would see us as a cute pair of siblings." Azella, lost in her fantasies, smiled foolishly to herself. Then she secretly calculated, with father's decree to find someone with spirit power, even the most foolish people would have hidden the child away, because of the power. How dare they steal the spirit power that was originally mine? Fortunately, there is still the remaining part of the brilliant stone. But what about the future? If an ambitious child, after hearing father's edict, appears in this capital city, then no matter how sad and resentful I am, I will have to live in harmony with them. Commoners are greedy and foolish. Only a kind and gentle princess like me can tolerate them. Azella continued to fantasize. It is tiring being a perfect princess. Now I have to start what I have prepared. Azella gathered everyone and announced, "I have something I want to show you all." She used her spirit power on a bird caged and ordered, "You can't fly out yet, sing a song." Immediately, the bird began to sing, its melodious voice echoing throughout the hall. The surrounding people began to exclaim, praising Azella as if she were a spirit of the forest. Azella then ordered the bird to fly to whoever cheered the loudest and give them a gift from her. The bird then flew around the hall and landed on the hand of a little girl. After her performance, Azella got down to business. Has anyone heard about my father searching for someone recently? A boy about Azella's age quickly replied, Is it about the discovery of a new royal who can sense spirit power? This is a blessing for the empire. Azella glared. He does not understand the emperor's psychology at all. What blessing? She intended to embarrass the boy so much that he would not be able to show his face in public again. First, Azella pretended to continue the conversation. Then, when no one was looking, she shoved the boy hard in the shoulder. Caught off guard, the boy spilled juice all over himself. Azella acted as if nothing had happened and continued chatting with others. If that person has not appeared by now, they are probably not a noble. Others agreed. A royal raised among commoners, how pitiful. Azella scoffed. A distant royal of unknown origin, raised among commoners. Could also be an illegitimate child born outside the royal family. How can I accept someone like that as my equal? After all, they are just a commoner raised like a beggar. But outwardly, she put on a saintly expression, how pitiful. I want to help that person quickly. Hearing the empty praises, Azella became even more confident. Like this, even if that person comes to the capital, everyone will unconsciously treat them like a commoner princess. Back to Shualina's side. She suddenly told Nina that she wanted to go to the Duke's archives. Because she wanted to learn about the history of the Duke's family. According to the novel, the Empress and Azella would commit more evil deeds, and Shulina had to deal with them herself to raise her standing. Her advantage was knowing the novel's contents. By using this to block or preemptively seize their means of committing crimes, the Empress and Azella would not have the opportunity to create a positive image for themselves. The Duke would naturally gain a good reputation. If Shualina's memory was correct, the next event would be the appearance of a white monster in the Monster Mountain. So Shulina needed to research materials about the Monster Mountain. Arriving at the archives, Shulina, wanting to be alone, politely dismissed Nina. Nina politely said, If you need anything, please call me anytime, and left. Shulina finally felt at ease to go find the book. The books here were arranged from the ancestors' time. Shulina felt that it would be easier to find if they were arranged alphabetically. But she found it a bit strange. Clearly Shulina had learned to read from the maid after being captured by the Duke. So how could she read now? However, it did not matter right now, the monster forest was the top priority. While searching, suddenly a book was pushed out from the side. Shulina quickly noticed the movement. Although quite scared, she still had to check what it was. If it was an intruder, she would call someone. So Shulina followed the trail to where the book fell. There was a gap where the book was pushed out. Through that narrow gap, Shulina saw a strange boy. Shulina immediately recognized the child. She proactively asked, Who are you? The boy, after hearing that, had no intention of answering. Seeing the boy about to disappear, Shulina hurriedly chased after him. But when she reached where the boy was, he had already disappeared. Shulina wondered if she had seen a ghost. She looked around cautiously, constantly saying ghosts are not real to comfort herself. While she was lost in thought, Shulina was pulled back by a powerful force. Suddenly, a sound echoed. A passage to another world has appeared. Shulina was startled upon hearing this. Shulina picked up the book. She had never heard of another world, but since it was in the Grand Duke's family archive, it must be an important document. Shulina carefully placed the book on the table to read. There might be some important information inside. The book stated, a passage to another world has appeared in the forest. Mana tends to move from denser areas to less dense areas. All the mana throughout the world is continuously being sucked out, through passages leading to another world. Shulina guessed that the forest mentioned here must be the monster forest. Then she wondered, was it that child who dropped this book? Why does he keep helping me? Shulina tried calling out, Are you still there? But of course there was no reply. Despite that, Shulina still thanked the boy for helping her. She continued reading. As mana accumulates, the forest becomes a place where magic is easy to use but difficult to detect. In addition, the phenomenon of animals and plants turning into monsters has also been discovered. It is a phenomenon similar to a person becoming transcendent when mana accumulates in their body. In return, there seems to be a wall preventing the monsters from escaping. However, about a week before the New Year's festival, monsters appear in droves. This is the Bylot family's responsibility. Shulina's guess was correct. The forest here was indeed the monster forest. However, she did not understand why the Grand Duke's family had to take responsibility. Shulina did not know the details, but perhaps she knew why the imperial consort chose the monster forest as the location for the crime. Because it was a place where mana converged, it was easy to cast magic. According to the novel, the monster that appeared in the forest resembled a tiger. If it was that big, Bylot would have already subdued it, as it was a monster that appeared after the conquest, so Violet was not prepared. Usually, from the New Year's festival onwards, monsters would not appear. When people felt at ease, the damage was even more severe. Shulina calculated, should I request a conquest even after the New Year's festival? But when I reveal the future, people will wonder why I am making such a request. They fought each other in the imperial city. So why did the people of the empire and the Grand Duke become targets of crime? What is the responsibility of the royal family? Shulina slapped herself to regain her composure. Everything will be alright, there is still time. Only Shulina knew what the monster looked like. So she had to do something. As soon as Shulina stepped out of the door, she saw Frayne waiting outside. Even though Shulina did not ask, this was still her job. Frayne asked, there is still time before dinner, what will you do? It was getting late, so Shulina decided to look into it tomorrow. But it would be good to prepare a little early. So she asked Frayne to call Windy to help her. A moment later, Windy appeared in Shulina's room. She was holding the information Shulina had requested. Shulina did not expect Windy to have finished it just 3 hours after asking. The document contained all the information about the magic tower mages who had visited the Grand Duke's territory. Windy could not help but ask, you need these because of her, right? Shulina explained, Teacher Lima has been captured. But the person behind it is the royal family, so they can't be caught. The imperial consort poisoned the Grand Duke. Since she knows I am here, something might happen again. I am using a mage as an errand runner as a precaution. Windy also felt something was off about Lima's incident. Shulina's abilities were very strong. So she believed that if something happened this time, Shulina would handle it herself. But this was too dangerous. Windy tried to persuade her, if it is not something you are wondering about while studying, but for that reason, it is better not to get involved in dangerous things. Even if you are concerned, you should not act on your own. Because father and brother will take care of it. Shulina said softly, this is my business too. Windy added, but if you get hurt, our family will be heartbroken. Whatever happens, you have to tell me. We are a family, so protecting you is the most important thing. Do you understand? Shulina softly replied, yes, I understand. The document Windy gave mentioned the White Tower, one of the Imperial Consort's forces. A mage from the White Magic Tower, who mainly used healing magic, was loitering around the Grand Duke's territory. Considering the timing, the Imperial Consort probably sent them to create monsters in the Monster Forest. The book in the archive said that when enough mana accumulated, animals and even plants would turn into monsters. However, after the conquest ended, there was not much time left to create monsters, and if monsters were created during the conquest, there was a risk of being caught. Even if it took time, the plan was to proceed slowly through the monster transformation process so that it could be completed after the conquest. Shulina had no choice but to tell Violet about this. Shulina wondered, would father and my brothers let a child like me go into the forest alone? She had also promised Windy, so she could not sneak away. Was there a way to get her father and brothers to take her? At that moment, Nina suddenly ran in and asked if Shulina was tired. Nina could not believe Shulina was sitting at her desk like this after reading a book from the archive. Then she advised Shulina not to overwork herself. After hearing Nina, Shulina suddenly had an idea. If she said she wanted to study the forest, maybe they would agree. So Shulina asked Nina to prepare some paper and gemstone dust for invitations. During the meal, Shulina mustered up her courage and spoke. She said she had something to discuss. Violet reminded Shulina to finish her food so she could grow, but Shulina insisted on talking about this. Shulina took the stack of invitations hidden under the table, a little nervous because this was something she had never done before. Shulina held up the invitations in front of everyone and said boldly, my birthday is coming soon. I made these because I want us to spend time together. This was the first time she had said she wanted to celebrate her birthday. Shulina was a little nervous, wondering if everyone would accept. Both Windy and Dell excitedly asked, is your birthday coming soon? Is your birthday on New Year's Day? Shulina explained, that is not my birthday. Maybe it is the day I was found at the orphanage, so it will be my birthday. Violet gently complimented, such a beautiful card, shoo shoo. Shulina was also very happy that everyone seemed to like it. Then, the three of them came up with 3 options to celebrate her birthday, throwing a grand party, giving her the most expensive gift in the world. Violet even wanted to use Shulina's birthday as an excuse to skip the New Year's festival. Shulina shyly waved her hand. Just having everyone spend time with me on my birthday is enough. Instead, there is one thing I want from everyone. Shulina said sincerely, I have not been part of the Grand Duke's family for long, right? So I want to learn about the family history. History is the root of the Grand Duke's family. She thought everyone would easily agree, but no. Harsh reality poured cold water on Shulina. Everyone strongly objected, saying it was too dangerous. Shulina could only try to plead. I will only go to the safe entrance, and everyone will protect me. Can't we do that? Shulina looked at Violet with sparkling eyes, knowing that if she could convince him, it would be done. Of course, this trick was extremely effective. In a blink of an eye, Violet agreed. He turned to his two sons and said, This is the first gift Shushu has asked for. I am not asking you to clear the entire forest. I'm just asking you to go with her, so can you do it? Then he turned to pat Shulina's head. I have decided to raise Shushu so that she can do whatever she wants. Shushu, do whatever you want, I will be behind you to protect you. In return, you absolutely must not act alone. You must stay by my side unconditionally. Shulina rushed to hug Violet. I will definitely stay by your side, father. She told herself that she would definitely protect this place. Both her father and brothers, she would protect everyone. After entering the monster forest, Violet turned to Shulina and asked, What do you think? Unlike what you thought, it is nothing, right? Shulina could vaguely feel something outside the entrance. But when she went inside, the feeling was even stranger, like someone was beckoning her, making her heart race. Seeing Shulina pause, Windy immediately turned back to ask about her situation. Shulina just smiled and replied, It is nothing. Shulina simply thought it was her mood. There was no need to worry needlessly. Suddenly she felt something rushing straight towards them. Was it a monster? Or something else they did not know?